A regular meeting of the City Council held in Council Chamber on Thursday, September 14th, 2017 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on September 12th, 2017 at 8:55 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Council Lovely is absent, attending to a medical situation, I believe. Council President Milo presided. Councilor Fury moved to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? All those opposed? Please stand and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilor Gerard.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Public testimony. We have a number of people here tonight, and it looks like there are a lot of people that want to talk about Endicott and Prescott Street. So I would invite you all to, I'm not saying consolidate your comments, but try to keep them as brief as possible if somebody has already made a comment relative to what you wanted to say. Okay? All right. William Waters. Come on up. Just come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and we'll hear what you have to say.
First of all, drop the William, just call me Bill.
Okay.
My name is Bill Walters. I live at 73 Summer Street since January of this year. I took a survey several different days, and Bob can verify, I gave him a list. An average of 200 cars per hour go up Summer Street. That's an average. Yesterday was horrendous with Jefferson Avenue being blocked. The reason we're here, we're trying to get Endicott and Prescott one way coming down, not going up. And there are still some people who insist on coming up. And it's very aggravating. I'm the second house from the corner, and it's a great pleasure for me to be able to back out of my driveway without somebody coming around the corner. And I've only seen, since I've been there in January, February, I've only seen one bad accident. People in the neighborhood say they've seen a lot. But I think if we get this passed, it's going to help, even though there still are some people that insist on coming up Endicott Street one way the wrong way. And I just hope that everybody can see this. If you drive over there, you'll see what I'm talking about, and ask anybody that lives in the neighborhood. It's crazy. And this is my very first meeting, so just bear with me, okay? And I want to thank you for listening to me. And if you want to see the survey, I sent it over to Bob. I took it 6 or 7 different times. I sit there on the porch, I do my puzzles, and cars come through there. Unbelievable. You wouldn't think it was busy, but it is. So come on over sometime. Tom, how you doing? Okay? Come on over and just sit with me sometime. Steve, you know that too. And I'm sure it'll get passed, and I'm hoping it does. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much. Next, we have Jeff Cohen.
Jeff Cohen, 12 Hancock Street, here representing the Renewable Energy Task Force. Really psyched that we have a new member on your agenda today, who's really terrific, and many environmentalists who are going to speak about a few different things. I'm speaking about the change from the name Renewable Energy Task Force to Sustainability Energy Resiliency Committee. Renewable energy is only one component. We need to be a more sustainable community, and we need to be resilient. One prevents problems, the other will get us to the place we need to be. Our committee has some of the things that came out of our committee: the LED lights, municipal aggregation, 2 feasibility studies on wind turbines, the Solarized Salem program, electric carports, and something you guys all were a big part of, especially Councilors Dibble and Epley, is the 10-vote passage of the 100% clean energy resolution, and we're going to work hard to have a plan and implement it to achieve that goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Barbara Mann.
Good evening. I'm Barbara Mann on 29 Endicott Street. As a resident of Lower Endicott Street, I'm here to express my support for the permanent one-ways on Endicott and Prescott Streets. Since the trial began, there's been a significant decrease in the noise and volume that 2,400 cars a day generate. The neighborhood has a peaceful, relaxed atmosphere, something I've not witnessed during my 8 years here. We no longer feel anxious and fearful when crossing the street, and that alone is priceless. Over the course of this trial, I've hosted many visitors in my home. Some have been here before, some not, but all have commented on what a pleasant, peaceful neighborhood this is, particularly from those who've stayed with me many times before. Adjacent to my home live 4 small children. Their parents have established homes here, some for generations, and by keeping the one-ways permanent, we create a safe and welcome environment for their futures, thus ensuring prosperity for the future of Salem in the coming years. I hope you will vote in favor of making the one-ways permanent, and I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Doug Christel? I'm not sure. He's not here? Okay. Bob Femino.
Bob Femino, 32 Endicott Street. I've lived in the neighborhood almost my whole life. I'm also the coordinator of what we call the Let's See, the Lower Endicott Traffic Subcommittee. We worked hard to get the pilot program on Endicott and Prescott Streets for 2 years with Mayor Driscoll, Councilors Lovely, Sargent, and Famico, Traffic Director Matt Smith, Lieutenant Robert Przewski, and others. Recently, we sent each of you a letter, which I hope that you've read. It asked you to support the Traffic Commission's recommendation to make the program permanent. Tonight, I would like to present you with signatures. 155 neighbors and 7 businesses are standing with us. Some of them have been trying to get our traffic problem fixed for 20 years. Tonight, we hope you will do just that. A yes vote permanently improves our neighborhood's integrity, safety, and our quality of life. For Tom Kamada's grandchildren at 35 Endicott. For Doug Christel of 47 Endicott, who writes, I could not let my son play anywhere near the street for fear that he might get hit. The new traffic orientation has made this neighborhood much safer for anyone. A no vote would be to stand with the people who have brought this problem to us in the first place. Passing this ordinance, along with other initiatives like the discussed changes to Margin Street, would be a great start. 155 of us are asking you to do just that. Thank you.
Thank you. Beth Paquin.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Beth Paquin, and I live at 61 Summer Street, and I am here not for the Endicott, but I agree with everything they're saying. But I'm here for resident-only parking status on Summer Street, and I'm just here as a resident who has a horrible time finding parking in my neighborhood on a daily basis. We notice quite a few folks parking in the morning to take the train, because we're in walking distance of the train. We're so close to downtown, we have a lot of people conducting business, folks who come in and leave their cars for a full day or for a full evening if they're going out in town. It's a regular occurrence to come home at 6:30 or 7 and not find parking. Sunday evenings are impossible. So it's just a very difficult situation if you live in the neighborhood to find a spot close to your home. So I'm just here to talk about that difficulty and hope that you guys consider making it resident only.
Thank you. Joan Pizzello?
Thank you for the opportunity to address the council. I'm Joan Pizzello. I live at 37 Endicott Street. I liken our situation on Endicott Street to having a toothache. You don't know how awful it is until it stops and you get some relief from a good dentist. In the 48 years we've owned our home, we've never had a more peaceful, quiet summer, free of the fear of getting hit by speeding cars. We all worried about the kids from the Phoenix School who cross Endicott Street to get to High Street Playground. All of us in the neighborhood knew not to cross before Pratt Street. Cars came around the corner so fast and felt the need to step on the gas to get to Summer Street. When Riley Plaza was a one-way rotary back when we bought in 1969, there was no problem. But when it was reconfigured and the Mill Hill traffic came down to Margin, the problem became apparent. We were appalled to find out the average number of cars coming up the street, 2,400 a day. No wonder it was hard to get out of our driveway. No wonder we woke to a parade of cars every morning. Now it's safe, peaceful, and quiet. To get back to my toothache analogy, we're appealing to you to be the good dentist who makes the ache go away permanently. Thank you for listening to our request to keep the street one way and our quality of life intact. Thanks also to Mayor Driscoll and Councilors Lovely, Famico, and Sargent, as well as Lieutenant Przewski and Chief Butler for their interest in this effort.
Thank you. Laura Wentworth.
Hi, I'm Laura Wentworth from 61 Summer Street, Unit 2, and I'm here also in support of the resident-only parking on Summer Street. In conjunction with what Beth said, I routinely see people in the mornings when I'm driving my daughter to preschool that are parking their car and getting a briefcase and heading downtown. I think to avoid, paying for garage parking or metered spots where they know our street, they won't have to pay, so it's a good alternative because we're close to downtown. But it's really inconvenient for all of us who live on Summer Street, in that portion of Summer Street that aren't able to find parking near our homes. I've not been able to find parking on Summer Street itself before and had to park on an adjacent street. And like I said, with my 2 small children, it's difficult, it's not safe to be crossing where there's no crosswalks. And it's really, important for us to be able to have a safer option. I think a lot of our neighbors have kids, and, that's just part of it. But it would really help us to feel a little more secure in where we live. Thank you.
Thank you. Christopher Faccioni?
Hi, my name is Chris Faccioni. I live over at 20 Endicott Street, which is the big red brick building next to the shelter and across the street from Salem House of Pizza. As you can probably see or know from me, I have some disability issues. Balance is horrible. I have cut vision, plus I have vertigo. I just had a vertigo attack a couple minutes ago. So trying to cross the street, trying to cross Endicott Street before this went into effect was taking my life in my own hands. Cars were coming from all directions and not stopping at Endicott Street. And it was hairy at times. Ever since they made Endicott Street go one way, it has been so much safer for myself and other people trying to cross the street. So I would love to see this go permanent, just for safety issues and also quality of life issues. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Victoria Shams? She's not here? Oh, okay. Chris Norkin.
Hi, everybody. Chris Norkin, 53 Summer Street, here about the resident parking from Mount Vernon to Broad. Not to reiterate things that they've already said, to add on, Summer Street is one way, and there's only one side of the street that's parking. We've had 75% of the residents sign the petition, and there's very few of us that have driveways, so we rely on that one side of the street to park. And it is frustrating when you leave in the morning, people pull in right behind you, and they're there all day into the evening. Also, our bar staff and serving staff that works downtown, they park there, and their cars are there obviously till after midnight. And it's very difficult to find parking. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes public comment. Hearings. Oh, by the way, just so that everybody knows, we're going to do the 2 hearings first, and then we're going to take people out of order, anybody that's waiting here for a particular item, so that we can get you out of here. All right, because we've got a long agenda tonight. Hearings. Oh, Counselor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I would say that given the volume of people that are here for this particular one issue, I would move that we take out of order before we do the hearings and go to page 15, motions, orders, and resolutions, and dispatch this issue right now.
Sure. Okay. Counselor Terrio, what page are we on, 15?
So I don't know who's covering that for Councillor Lovely, but
Okay. So we're going to take, it's the first item on that
the
page.
first and the third items on that page.
Yeah. Okay. Motions, orders, and resolutions. And I think Counselor Sargent will take it?
If I may. Oh, the second one I'll take.
You want to take the second one? We'll split it for Council Lovely.
Okay.
I'd like to move for adoption for first passage on that, under discussion.
Okay. Do you want to, does anybody have the ordinance that we can read?
Want me to read it? All right.
Let's pass it to
I get it. Oh, this one here? Oh, thank you. That helps a lot, thank you. In the year 2017, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 10, one-way street. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 10. One-way street is hereby amended by adding the following. Prescott Street, one-way eastbound, side of Summer Street to Margin Street. This ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. Now on to discussion.
You move for adoption?
Move adoption for first passage, please.
Under discussion.
Everything the people that have spoken have said is true. Now, for me, this started 20 years ago when they redid Riley Plaza. You know, I lived in the neighborhood a long time, and I was walking from the House of Pizza towards the Italian Club, and I had my 3 children, and my oldest, my 8-year-old, was ahead of me. And a car came by within feet of them, and at a very high rate of speed. And it had never been like that before. And I realized that it happened from the redo of Riley Plaza. And the neighbors have been living with this as somewhat of a racetrack for all these years. And we've tried all different kinds of possibilities, and finally, this plan from Summer Street to Margin on Endicott and Prescott was something we got to a trial period. And I've stood out there for an hour at a time, maybe 10 times since it began. And what a difference. And of course, I stood out there before it began, and what a night and day situation. It's back to being a neighborhood instead of a downtown main street. It's safer. I've been sideswiped driving down Endicott Street before by somebody coming up at a high rate of speed. It's just something that I've lived with and my family's lived with, that lives in the neighborhood for a long time. And if we can bring some relief to these people, I'm so much in favor of this, I can't really explain it. So, thank you.
Councilor Terrio, Councilor Fury.
Thank you, Madam President. This is an issue that first came before us with the trial back in the spring. I think it's worked really well. I'm somebody coming from my side of town. I've gone up that street a lot. It always was a difficult street to traverse safely with two-way traffic. So I know what the problems have been, and I try very hard not to speed when I could go up it, but people do drive like maniacs on that street historically. So I said, I know exactly what you guys have been going through, and the Ward 2, Ward 3, and the councilors and the councilor at large have done a very good job of working with you guys on this. I'm happy to support it. This is a case where these are the guys who know the neighborhood, and I trust their judgment on behalf of you guys.
Councilor Fury.
Yes, please. I wish to come in and congratulate the team effort that was involved. There a lot of work behind the scenes making this all possible. And quality of life is so important to all of us. Salem is a city of neighborhoods. When you walk around these neighborhoods, they're priceless. And to add quality and safety, and what this measure will do, is going to make it a better neighborhood, a safer neighborhood. I had the pleasure of being a playground instructor on High Street for a couple of summers. Great neighborhood. A neighborhood's neighborhood. And that's what Salem's all about. And if we can add to the quality of a neighborhood and safety of it, better. And that's what our job is. It's democracy where the rubber hits the wheel on the local level, making a difference in the neighborhoods. So this is a special night for us. We're very happy to I hope it's going to be unanimous tonight to make your life better and Salem better. And thank you very much for your conscientious effort, all of you. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Counselor Ryan?
Thank you. I just want to say, I'm just sorry it took over 20 years to do this. I think 94 was when Raleigh Plaza was reconfigured, and it seems almost like a simple solution. And everyone here, I used to go that way. It's the easiest way instead of going downtown to get to North Street. I'm just sorry it just took this long, but at least it's getting done now, so.
Counselor Epley?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm in full support of this and very happy that this is coming before us. One of the things that I really like about this is it's not only neighbors coming together, but it's also the experts coming together as well who've tested this. Because, you know, one of the problems whenever you do a one-way street, sometimes you push down on a balloon and it goes out both ends. That's not my phrase. That's from Lieutenant Przewski, who's our traffic captain of our traffic here in Salem. But my point is that this particular configuration for both Prescott Street and Endicott Street does not do that. The testing that's been done by Matt Smith, our parking director, shows that in fact there's a lot that there's enough traffic going each way. See, that's another thing is that for us as city councilors, we do need to rely upon not only the neighbors but also the experts in making the decisions because we're not traffic experts. But thanks, and I'm looking forward to voting yes.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, under Councilor Sargent's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Counselor Terrio?
Thank you, Madam President. Now move that we take the second item in motion, the third item in motions, orders, and resolution on page 15 out of order.
Counselor Famiko?
City of
Further
Salem,
motions, orders, and resolutions. Counselor Famiko?
City of Salem in the year 2017, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 10, One-Way Street. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 10, One-Way Street is hereby amended by adding the following. Endicott Street, one-way, eastbound from Summer Street to Margin Street. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. And I'm going to move for adoption for first passage.
Under discussion?
Yes. I waited for the next one for this. So to tag into what the good at Ward 4 Council just said, for this one, we actually did make sure we did this study done, and they put tubing before and during and notified the neighbors, so we did it right. If you actually look at the data, there was a spike for 2 weeks when this initially changed. So for a couple weeks' time, the folks on Summer Street had an increase of over 4,000 cars going down the street a given day, but then after that fact, we're looking at a decrease of over 1,600 a couple weeks later. That's a big thing, as the Ward 4 Council was saying, is sometimes we're doing this and it's just on people's gut feelings, and this is good to have the actual quantitative evidence to prove why we're doing something a certain way, and that it's not just your emotions in it, that there's actual fact-based evidence. So we did have that spike, it's back down, and I will agree with Chris over there. Walking across that one part there, you had the speed table, and when you had the cars going both ways and on the both sides of the street, it just really wasn't passable for people. So I'm glad to see that the numbers did continue down. I was a skeptic at first, but now that we have this type of stuff in place and that going forward we have a process, we'll be a lot better off.
Any further discussion? Counselor Dibble?
Thank you, Madam President. Seeing that I didn't chime in the last one, this one, like the last one we just did on Prescott Street, and I hate to use this phrase, it's an absolute no-brainer. This should have been done a long time ago, like Councilor Ryan suggested. So let's approve this and strengthen that neighborhood. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Council Famiko's motion to adopt this for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Councilor Terrio?
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that we return to our regular order and continue and pick up with hearings.
Okay. Hearings.
Nice job, Nate.
Thank you.
Give an order for National Grid to install conduits near 76 Lafayette Street to bring secondary service for cell antenna on street light pole 6150.
Anybody appearing in favor?
Sabita Mahabir Sheehy, representing National Grid, 44 River Street, Beverly, Massachusetts.
This is, as stated, to provide service to a cell tower.
Anybody else want to speak in favor? No? Anybody opposed? Councilors have any questions? Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly, is this for a additional service provider or to do work for an additional service provider for this pole that we've already done, approved previously, or?
This is an antenna to provide service on an antenna on this pole.
Okay, so I thought we'd already approved one, so it's another one on there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who the provider that you're hooking it up for is, or?
No, I'd have to look at the order.
That's mainly for my own curiosity's sake. It's not essential to, okay. If there's no further questions, we know that we've dealt with this poll quite a few times this year for one reason or another, so.
All right, no further questions? Councilor Famico?
Yeah, just to make sure with this, we just had a whole new crosswalk put in just outside of this area that was actually dug up, and it took a lot of process just to make sure it's back in the same condition. And also, I don't know who it was last time, but when they did the trenching through the sidewalk, they didn't repair like with like, so we have a strip of asphalt that's going through the sidewalk there now as a result, to take care of that.
Councilor DeVoe.
Thank you, Madam President. Like the good Ward 5 councilor, I'm a little bit confused in this one because we've already approved a similar thing on the exact same pole. How can we do it again? We're going to stack antennas up on top of each other on this one pole? I'd like to get...
Are you sure it's an antenna?
Same
or not the
location.
service to the pole?
Secondary service for cell antenna. Sounds like just a service.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. So just to clarify a little bit, we've already approved the initial street cutting permit for this before the opening permit for the first provider that went on this pole. Apparently, this is on the second one. I would say that I myself am in favor of, especially in an area like the downtown, of putting these on single poles wherever possible, so long as the pole can handle it and it's already been checked off on. So at the electrician level, so they're good with it. So at this point, I'm good with it. The only thing I would say is I know the location of where they've been doing the work for this pole. It's outside of the crosswalk itself. It's a little bit offset from it, but they had done work on the sidewalk previously, and I'd like to have as a condition, if any approval, that that the sidewalk be restored to original condition, not just patched with asphalt.
Okay.
So I would put that as a condition of the approval when we do so.
Councilor Famico?
And if the good Ward 5 councilor is also amicable to it, to make sure, especially going into this season, that no work take place on a Friday. We have a lot of folks coming in on Friday afternoons this time of year. And I'll also note the trench work that's in the street. I don't know if it was you guys or the other company, but it's already settling about an inch or so. I did a visit right before this meeting. And I know it's not my ward, but it's right across the street, and I'm often there.
Any further questions or discussions? Councilor Terrio?
No, Madam President, I move the public hearing be closed.
Councilor Terrio moves that the public hearing be closed. All those in favor? All those opposed? The hearing is closed. Councilor Terrio?
Thank you, Madam President. I also move that this be granted with the conditions we discussed previously during this, that work not take place on Fridays, and that the pavement be restored and be restored to a level condition, and that the sidewalk be restored to original concrete at the conclusion.
Okay. On Councilor Terrio's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further hearings.
We have an order from Comcast to install conduit and vaults to provide service to 224 and 226 Essex Street.
Anyone appearing in favor?
Good evening, Dave Llewellyn, Comcast. I'd like to read the petition because I'd like to make a little bit of a clarification on this also. So Washington Street, we're going to be starting in the sidewalk located in front of 97 and 103 Washington Street, locating the existing Comcast conduit and placing a proposed 24 by 36 inch vault in the sidewalk. Continuing from the vault and excavating in the roadway to place one 3-inch PVC conduit 117 feet down the alleyway to a proposed 12-inch by 18-inch lockbox at the rear of 224 and 226 Essex Street. The reason I read the petition is because there was a typo on the plan that incorrectly showed the trench in the sidewalk. But the description of the work that I just read is the correct location of the work. It will be in the street.
Anybody else appearing in favor? Anyone opposed? Any questions from counselors? Counselor Famico, you look like you have a question.
I'm actually going to be move that this be continued to our next regularly scheduled council meeting. Just due to the change in the plan and also talking to some of the business owners there, they were unaware. And just to make sure, we usually coordinate things after the fact, but in this particular address and where the work is coming out from the trench, it is the major entrance to some residential properties. And recently, when we've done some other trench work downtown for the same line of work, it's turned into 2 days, turning into 2 weeks to a month plus. And additionally, right now, with annex construction happening across the street, we oftentimes are having parts of the roadway blocked off. For example, right now, we have the dumpster across the street. That sidewalk's being closed off often in the mornings and afternoons. I think we need to coordinate this a little bit better and make sure we have the correct plans. We spoke prior to the meeting. He'll be back here 2 weeks anyhow for another petition that's before us.
Councilor Rupley.
Thank you, Madam President. My question is, with the delay, will that impact any service for businesses or other consumers within those 2 weeks?
Yes.
And what businesses or consumers would those be?
224 and 226, if that's who the service is for.
Councilor Famico.
But do they currently have any internet service?
I don't know if they have
I know one's Cabot Wealth Management, and they do. They're on the internet every day. But for this time of year and blocking off a sidewalk, I'm not in favor of that.
Councilor Rupley.
Madam President, I noticed from the gallery that there apparently seems to be a business owner that's in the room, and I would move to suspend the rules to allow her to speak.
Seeing no objection?
We're in a hearing. I apologize, yeah.
Hi.
If you can just state your name and address.
Yeah, I'm Karen Davis from Coon's Card and Gift Shop. And I currently run Coon's Card and Gift Shop on the Verizon DSL. And since July of this year, DSL's been down. I've been basically running my business on my Verizon cell phone. And what happens is the DSL goes down, my credit cards don't work. I have to get iPads. I bought 3 iPads to run it on my Verizon wireless account because it keeps going down. I've been in my store every day for a month. I'd go home and I'd have to come back. I'd go home and have to come back. And I'm like petrified this is going to happen for October. I can't be down and there's no way I could run my business like this. You know, I called Verizon. I tried to get another line put in and it's just been I just can't imagine running my business in October without having a internet that will not go down. It goes down. I wake up at 3 in the morning and my phone shows when something is down because I have a lot of things that run off of DSL. So I've been trying to get this done for a couple of months and you guys didn't meet last month. And so I'm desperately asking if we could get this done as soon as possible so I can run my business in the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Gerard, Councilor Rupley.
Thank you, Madam President. A few years ago when I was working at Pamplemousse in October, and I don't know if Coons would experience this, it was Columbus Day weekend that all the internet went out on the pedestrian walkway. We were using the old-fashioned chits, and we were there until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning trying to take care of this. So I completely sympathize with her, and if we can get this through tonight so that she can get her service up and going, then I think that we should do that.
Councilor Rupley.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I agree with the Ward 6 Councilor. I would also note that the application was sent to us on August 11th, and so the reason why it's coming this late is because of us. We've been out. So I would ask that we pass this tonight.
Councilor Famico.
I understand this, but as someone that's consistently walking every day, the current scaffolding across the street does not provide a lot of accessibility for those in wheelchairs or whatnot. They're limited to one side of the street. And the 2 businesses that this would be going in front of, the trenching, I just recently had trenching like this take place outside of where I live, and it closed off all in front of where I lived. We didn't get mail for 5 days. businesses were disrupted, and this afternoon, walking home, I spoke to the hair salon that's next door to where this will be coming out of, and then he could be impacted. No one's reached out to him yet. I know Honeydew was talked to by the city engineer, but as I also mentioned, I don't know where the secondary egress is for these units that are upstairs in different times of the day and when they're going in the work across the street. For right now, because right now, the way this is now, this is in the roadway. It's not on the sidewalk as we're shown, so we're thinking at this point, half of Washington Street here is going to be blocked down. The other part of Washington Street, that dumpster is already going into the roadway more than it should be. I understand that. I don't know if there's anything else that could be done. I sympathize with the business owner. I know how that can be tough. However, I just feel as though this could be better off coordinated. I don't know if there's another way around that, especially with everything across the street right now.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a question for the petitioner, if I could. In terms of doing this, I understand what the Ward 2 councilor is referring to in terms of the project that was taking place by her residents over quite some time that involved a fiber optic connection being brought several buildings up to the hotel from Central Street. The question that I have on this, I'm generally familiar with most of the work that you guys do in the trenching. How much space are we talking about for a work area? You said that the vault itself would be in the sidewalk.
Correct.
But the the trenching would be, the trench you dig would be in the street?
Yes, the vault is basically going to be placed pretty much right up against the granite curb.
Okay.
As close as we can to the granite curb, so sidewalk pedestrians, we should be able to keep that open. That shouldn't be an issue. And then when we come out into the street, the intent is to basically take those parking spaces right there.
And not the street itself?
And then trench in and come up into the alleyway.
Not taking the street itself?
No.
And just closing off those couple of parking spaces?
We'll have a better idea once the dig safe marks are marked out to indicate where the existing lines are there, but as we come out, the intent is to stay within those parking spaces.
Can I ask just, not on this specific one, but for a comparable job, what would the timetable be from when you first put a shovel into the ground to when you have it closed up?
Depending upon the digging, should only take a couple of days, 3-4 days at the most. I'd say probably a week, worst case scenario, depending upon weather and digging conditions.
Okay. And that's, and do you have that, assuming we have an approval, do you have the crew scheduled already on this pretty much, or?
It's already called in the dig safe ticket, yes.
All right. This is a case where, I get the concerns on the work that's going to take place there. I'm okay with letting it go forward, just knowing the conditions and knowing what the circumstances are on this, and also knowing the difference between a major project like the one that took place with the with the fiber run, and something like this where you're just basically bringing it in off the existing circuit to another location, nearby. So I'm okay with this going forward, I'll say. And also the other factor right now is we're in the middle of September. And if we do this in the next week or so, we're doing it before the October rush starts. If we put this off a couple weeks, as much as I would like to, if we put this off a couple weeks, now we're starting to dig at the beginning of October, and that's when, A, the busy season is for the businesses there, and B, that's when the sidewalks and the streets really start to get full of people. So I would, I appreciate the desire to get a little bit more info there, but I think sooner the better on this one for everybody's sake.
Councilor Famico.
How long is it for a dig safe?
The dig safe, he called the dig safe ticket in today, it will be cleared on the 18th. It's 72 hours from when the ticket is called in. So it's legal on the 18th.
Pulling that up now.
Um,
That's next Monday?
I believe so.
And so you could
Yeah,
start
Monday.
work on Tuesday?
If it's approved and we can apply for the street opening permit, I would say yes.
Fine with that. Still not keen on this, but I'll move that we approve it, but instead of that, we'll probably keep the sidewalk open. I wanted that the sidewalk will be open at all times to pedestrian access.
Yep.
And that also, pardon?
We have to close the public hearing first.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just saying beforehand what I'll do for that. And then that we're also looking at, to make sure that we coordinate with the work across the street.
Absolutely.
And proper notification to residents. The people upstairs there, their mailbox, it's not like the same as going to a regular neighborhood that you can stick something on a door. They don't get notified either way, so it's going to have to probably be mailed to them, which could go out beforehand that you're planning to do work.
Well, it may take too long to put something together to mail. If we could just notify the abutters, I mean, those properties there with if I have to, I'll personally knock on their door and
You can't knock
communicate
on
with
their
them.
doors, it's behind a locked door.
Okay.
It's upstairs and buzzers.
Well, I'm just afraid if we mail something, it's going to take time to mail out, and then by the time they get it, that window is going to, the ticket's legal on Monday. Technically, we could put the shovel in the ground on Tuesday. It's going to take at least a few days for it to go through the
If you get it ready and
mail.
out the door tomorrow, then you could still leave stuff at their door for that. Because people shouldn't be not finding out about this until they try to leave in the morning.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take the abutters list. I'll put together a letter tomorrow.
The abutters list isn't necessarily who lives there, because the abutters list is who the property owner is. Downtown's a lot of renters.
Okay.
So it'll have to be the addresses. We did it recently on March Street, that it wasn't the abutters list, they did the property owners as well as the residents themselves. So it would be a street listing. So I'll move the public hearing be closed.
Counselor Famico moves that the public hearing be closed. All those in favor? All those opposed? Counselor Famico.
All right, so I'll move this be approved with the following conditions. The first is that the sidewalk shall remain open to pedestrian access at all times. The second is that abutters are notified with a letter being mailed to all postal mail addresses there. And that's just due to people like me that it goes to the building owner and the people who actually live there don't know. And then the third part is that you should coordinate with the work that's happening across the street.
I'm Counselor.
Also, if you could just leave a note, and the fourth and final thing, just have something at the door as well in case the letter doesn't arrive in time. Thank you for that.
On Counselor Famico's motion that this be granted with conditions, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries.
Thank you.
We have a number of petitioners here tonight. Counselor Turiel?
Do you want to do, we have some appointments and reappointments as well, that we have 3 appointments, reappointments, we do those first? And then we'll do all the petitions and...
Okay, yeah, let's quickly, and then we'll go through that. Okay. Let's see. Appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of John Andrews to serve as a member of the Salem Public Arts Commission with a term to expire July 20th, 2019.
Counsel McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Under discussion, Mr. Andrews is present with us tonight, and let it be noted for the record that he's actually wearing pants tonight.
Qualify that with lawn pants?
Let me
Lawn
just clarify that. I put it out that way. Just to get any of us who've known John over the last bunch of years knows that John, in the middle of a snowstorm, will be wearing shorts. That's just the way John is. He very seldom wears pants, but he was told that he'd wear pants tonight, and he actually put a shirt on with a collar, and it's all buttoned up, and I will say that John is probably one of the nicest individuals I've had the pleasure of meeting in my time and serving on the city council. He is very involved with the community. Any of us who've ever been at any event in the city have always seen John with his camera, always taking photos, trying to, take the picture that captures the moment. He's very involved with a lot of special events in the city, and I think he's going to be a tremendous asset to the Public Arts Commission. I'm looking forward to some of his ideas and how he works with Deb moving the Public Arts Commission forward, but I wholeheartedly stand here in support of his appointment, and I just had to throw a little barb at him. I know he doesn't like these public settings. He likes to be around on the sides with his camera. He doesn't like to be front and center, but tonight we're going to put him front and center for a few minutes, and I would wholeheartedly ask everyone for their support.
I'm obligated to ask, I'm obligated to ask this. Any further discussion? Counselor Turiel, Counselor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. Because Mr. Andrews hates to be front and center, that's why I have to make him front and center for change, as my colleague has said. John, a lot of the people really appreciate the higher profile that Salem has developed in recent years, the events that we do, the things that make Salem seem neat and funky and interesting. And one of the things that a lot of people watch this on TV don't know is that the reason behind a lot of that, the driving force behind a lot of those things, is John. The work that he has done to promote the city, the work that he has done to help bring neat events to the city and sponsor things, and the drive-in movie that we've been doing the last couple of summers, where people go down to Winter Island, have a great time, watch a movie, annoy people in Marblehead with the noise from the sound system. That's John. That's his baby. A lot of the festivals that we do, a lot of the public arts events that we do, John is one of the driving forces behind all that. And he's done more than probably any other single person to make Salem a cool place for people to come to, and to really bring things out that get all the families and the kids and stuff involved in the city. And he's been a great force moving things forward. His photography has become iconic for the city. And again, like my colleague said, I could not more wholeheartedly support his appointment for this.
Councillor Duride.
Thank you, Madam President. I also am in strong support of this. I've known John now for about 7 years. We used to work together at Pamplemousse, and I will say that I think that this is one of the best appointments that we could have to the Public Art Commission. Every night that my husband and I go to sleep, we go to sleep over this beautiful photograph that John had taken of Mack Park, and it's just the most stunning picture. And he, with his talent, was able to capture the shadow in a way that with the tree, there's two people walking, and with the tree, it looks like the tree is walking with them. And this is what he does with this talent, and that's what you want on your Public Art Commission. So I'm truly honored to support this appointment.
Any further? Councillor Epley.
I'm not going to repeat anything, but what I will say is that this is a good opportunity to talk about how creative people in our community really can provide not only a benefit to us from a cultural standpoint or a standard of living standpoint, but frankly from an economic standpoint. There are good dollars that are involved within the creative community, and John is a great person to help harness that. So from a dollars and cents standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. I also just want to say I'm looking forward to see what will happen with John on the Public Art Commission for the next 2 years, because I think there's a lot of stuff, really good stuff happening.
Any further discussion? Seeing none? On Councilor McCarthy's motion for confirmation by roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Councillor Terrio?
Yes.
Councillor Sargent?
Yes.
Councillor Ryan?
Yes.
Councillor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councillor Gerard?
Yes.
Councillor Fury?
Yes.
Councillor Famiko?
Yes.
Councillor Epley?
Yes.
Councillor Dibble?
Yes.
Councillor Milo?
Yes.
On the matter of the appointment of John Andrews to the Salem Public Arts Commission, we have 10 councilors voting, 1 absent. 10 in the affirmative, 1 absent. The appointment carries.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to suspend the rules to allow Mr. Andrews to address the council if he so chooses. That's all.
That, Joe.
We respect that.
Thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Jane O'Leary to serve as a member of the Salem Bicycle Advisory Committee with a term to expire July 20th, 2020.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. O'Leary is a neighbor of mine down on Wisteria Street. She is a avid biker. She has similar musical taste to mine. That's one of the ways that I know her as well. We have some friends in common in that side of things too. But no, she is really involved in the cycling community here in the city. I think she'll be a tremendous asset to this. I think we need that sort of, more the perspective of having avid, out there and regular cyclists who do it not just for a fun ride on the weekend, but it's really a part of their life. I think that's really important for us to help advance biking, infrastructure and culture in this city. So I very enthusiastically support her confirmation.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Terrio's motion for confirmation by roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Councillor Terrio?
Yes.
Councillor Sargent?
Yes.
Councillor Ryan?
Yes.
Counsel McCarthy?
Yes.
Counsel Gerard?
Yes.
Counsel Fury?
Yes.
Counsel Famiko?
Yes.
Counsel Epley?
Yes.
Counsel Dibble?
Yes.
Counsel Milo?
Yes.
Thank you.
On the matter of the appointment of Jane O'Leary to the Salem Bicycle Advisory Committee, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 in the affirmative, 1 absent. The appointment carries. Counselor Turiel.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules to allow Ms. O'Leary to address the council, so should she choose.
Come on down.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Jane, and I'd like to thank the mayor and the city council and Tom Devine and the Bike Advisory Committee for moving forward on my appointment. I'm an avid biker. More importantly, I'm a mountain biker and a trail rider, and I ride the Salem bike path every day back and forth to work. I work at the university, and like Josh had mentioned that I live nearby in the neighborhood, but I'd really like to elevate the recreational use, but also to really help elevate bike riding in the city of Salem as a way to commute and to enjoy the city. So I'm grateful to be a part of it. Thanks again.
Other appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Lisa K. Rosenthal to serve as a member of the Salem Renewable Energy Task Force with a term to expire July 20th, 2020.
Counselor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Discussion. Yes, thank you, Madam President. I think that we'll have better environmental aspects happening in Salem through this appointment. I think when you read the resume and talk to this person, you'll see that things will be different. You're going to have a different approach. As somebody, well, 2 of the councilors here, as one of the first people in Salem to have solar panels on our roof and help start the recycling program, those are old school things that everybody should be doing now. She's going to bring things to the front that just expand our programs. And I'm looking forward to these changes. So I wholeheartedly recommend the appointment of Lisa Rosenthal to the task force.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, under Counselor Dibble's motion for confirmation by roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Counselor Turiel?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famiko?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. On the matter of the appointment of Lisa K. Rosenthal to the Salem Renewable Energy Task Force, we have 10 counselors voting, 10 in the affirmative, 1 absent. The appointment carries. Counselor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to suspend the rules to allow Ms. Rosenthal to speak, should she so choose.
Thank you, Mr. Dibble, and the rest of the City Council for your support. Thank you to Mayor Driscoll for the nomination, and also Jenna Ide and Jeff Cohn for initially introducing me to the Renewable Energy Task Force. I'm honored to serve on this committee. My partner and I just purchased our first home in South Salem, and I'm very excited to become involved in the local community and local government. For the past 7 years, I've been working for an organization that's based out of Salem, and we help other nonprofits access federal and state fundraising campaigns. I've always been committed to the idea that sustainability can be a uniting force in a community. So I'm excited to work with the task force on sustainable projects in and around Salem. So thank you again for supporting my nomination, and I look forward to meeting everyone in the coming months.
Moment of personal privilege, if I can.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I'd like to rise and recognize, it's not on the agenda, but we all received an email this past week relative to the Hispanic Heritage Month. It's and we all received an email from from Dominic saying that the flag raising is going to be tomorrow at Riley Plaza. Typically, when typical other orders have been brought in about raising the flag at Riley Plaza, we typically see it in front of us. It's going to be done as it's been done the last couple of years, but I just wanted to let everyone know that it is going to happen tomorrow. And at this time, there's former councilor Lucy Caccaro, sitting behind me, is with us this evening. If there's any, if she would like to speak, if there's, like, I make a motion to suspend the rules, just allow her to address us for a few moments to talk about the importance of it and to let everyone know that in honor of the Heritage Month, it's recognized across the country, that at our next meeting, we'll be bringing in a resolution to formally to recognize the month. But at this time, since Lucy came this evening, I would like to suspend the rules, allow her just to address us for a brief moment, if she so chooses.
Seeing no objection, Lucy?
Thank you. Very brief, because I think Councilor McCarthy basically said it all, but I wanted to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to address you and invite you all, those present in the room as well as the viewing audience, tomorrow, 11 o'clock, we will be, as a kickoff to Hispanic Heritage Month, be raising the flags. Obviously, there's not enough poles for all, so about 12, 13 flags of folks who are represented in the city of Salem will be raised, and I invite you all to come and join us. There will be a number of activities as well, starting with the kickoff tomorrow on the 19th. We will also have a book group. The contact there would be Farrah Wolfson. It's regarding Mama's Nightingale. The 24th, there will be an interfaith service at the Tabernacle Church from 10 to noon. On the 29th, Uprooting Racism, Privilege, and Inequality. That's a workshop with Tim Wise at Salem State. September 30th, there is a block party in the neighborhood. There will be new art unveiled. October 4th, Salsa Nights with Greg Coles, and October 12th, there will be a celebration at the Winter Island Function Hall, celebrating unsung community heroes. So there will be a schedule sent out to you all. You're all invited. Hope to see you tomorrow. Hope the weather holds up, and let's celebrate Latino Heritage Month. Thank you.
Councilor Famico, Councilor Ryan.
Madam President, can we take out of order on page 21, the second item down, regards the Festivus 5K road race? We have a very patient teenager in the audience right now.
Okay, on page 21, the second item?
Yes, please.
It's like the Festivus race? Councilor McCarthy?
We have a request from Cynthia Johnson to hold a road race, the Festivus 5K, and use of city streets on December 10th, 2017 at 10 a.m.
Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Madam President. Festivus for the rest of us. Seinfeld reference. Yeah, exactly. This is an annual road race. It's a great charity. It starts down at Finn's and Pickering Wharf. Still starts there. Loops out, comes back. It's a fundraiser. 100% goes back to a great cause. It's been an annual event, and I have no problem supporting this. And I know there might be a few people who want to speak on this race, but at this time, I move for approval.
Thank you, Councilor Famico. Councilor Ryan?
I'm also in full support of this. The Johnson family does a really fabulous job coordinating with their signs that they have people holding related to Seinfeld, and also just getting people out, and the schools are involved and the restaurants are involved. It's just a really great community effort. And Trevor helped start it all. He's one of our, what is it, a celebrity? Celebrity, I can't pronounce it. He can do it after for everyone. But he's been doing great work in the community, and this is a good role model for everyone as well, and gets his sister involved. Last year, his sister and I were hanging up signs and helped set up a dance floor during this whole event, and it's just a really great time, and brings to light that everyone has their own quirks and everyone is their own person, and that we should just all help each other out in different ways.
Councilor Ryan?
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Famico beat me to the punch. I was saying to Councilor Gerard, I was looking over there, being a parent of 3 school-age kids, I'm like, they probably want to get out of here. So she beat me to the punch, and being the liaison to the Park and Rec Commission, I was at the last meeting where she was at, and they were like, why are you here? It doesn't even go through a park. So for some reason this year, it was more difficult getting this approved. But I was saying to Councilor Gerard, I was like, yeah, we should probably get them out of here, so we'll try to move it over. You beat us to the punch, so.
Councilor Terrio?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm in full support of this. I I run this every year and have been running it since the very first year. Cindy always mainly because it's funny to do so, always, and the idea of me wearing a low number is funny. He always reserves my ward number for me. So any ward councillor who wishes to run the race will get their ward number as their bib number for it. So.
Where's the council last?
Oh, I don't know. They get something, but so if we can finally get Bob to do it, he'll get the number 1. Well, actually, no, the other guy gets 1.
Go with the race.
Councilor Gerard always gets the number 6 for herself, and no, it's a great cause. It's a fun race. My son stomps me every year brutally, and more brutally every year as he gets faster and I get slower. And just terrific time, great cause. Goes up Lafayette Street, does a loop around by near Forest River Park, and then comes back along the shore. And it's a lot of fun. It's usually cold, but not too cold. And the party at Finn's is always a lot of fun too. And they give away their, they serve food to everybody as a, just out of the kindness of their hearts. And it's, a great event.
Thank you. Councilor Gerard.
Madam President, not only does Councilor Turiel's son smoke him, but I also smoke him as well every year. So I will say, I think it was 2 years ago that Councilor Famico beat me by a couple of minutes. But this is a really fantastic race, and I'm very sad that I can't be there this year because I'm already registered for another race that day. So maybe if 6 people in place of me for Ward 6 could sign up, that would be fantastic because it really does go to a great cause. And I think you guys have raised something like $10,000 every single year. And what local race with, 400 runners does that? So keep it up.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor McCarthy's motion for approval, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. Being a Boy Scout leader for the last 23 years, being a Boy Scout leader for the last 23 years or so, and being Trevor's, one of Trevor's leaders now, I'd like to motion to spin the rules to see if he has anything to offer on this matter. Mr. Johnson.
Seeing no objection?
Yes, I'd like to hear if you have anything to offer to this meeting. You come to the microphone and speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
So, thank you all for voting for our race. It's great to see that our city is in support of this, Yeah.
Thank you, Ted.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Still seeing a few people sitting here that typically, no offense, you could stay as long as you want. They usually don't sit here.
Go to the next item.
Specifically with regards to the people who spoke at public testimony, it's not my ward, but they, Summer Street, about the resident parking.
Get the zombie walk.
Zombie walk? Okay.
Go through the petitions.
Yeah, that's fine. Then we'll do, just so we can just, people can stay as long as they want. We have no problem with that, but sometimes, just through the course of the agenda, some of the people that come, we'd like to try to move them up. So if after we take care of the zombie walk, could we take care of the people on Summer Street? They came early on and spoke early.
Sure. Okay, further petitions.
There's a couple more events in the petitions we can get through. Get that. And then
We're on, what,
Zombie walk,
21?
Which was,
keep going with petitions.
Request from Adam Fitch and Matt Richard to hold a zombie walk and use of city streets and sidewalks on October 7th, 2017 at 4:30 p.m.
Councilor Famico.
I move this be granted.
Any discussion?
I'm still not doing the zombie walk, Josh. No, they do it. They do this every year, and we had just communication just that as people were being zombies, not to walk into other people, and please use crosswalks. And that's all I have. And I enjoy actually ringing cowbells out my window at the zombies.
Councilor Gerard, Councilor Turiel.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm really happy that my constituent, Adam, is doing this again, and as well as with Matt Richard. And as I mentioned earlier, that my time working at Pamplemousse, when the zombie walk would come down, there are some incredibly elaborately dressed people, and they would scare the living daylights out of me. But it's always great. And I think last year there was someone that said that their wedding was taking place as the zombie walk was going by, and it enhanced their wedding. So this is a great walk. So thank you again for doing this.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Once again, in this one, I have participated in this many years. Last year it was raining enough that my family chose to not be zombies in the rain, and instead we watched the zombie walk from Councilor Famico's apartment. And I do look forward to participating once again this year. It is a lot of fun. It's families. I've seen like toddlers dressed as zombies, and doing this with people, and zombies in strollers, and it's a lot of fun. Everybody has a really good time. You've got the crowd starting to show up downtown, and they're all laughing and enjoying it. And when you go loop through Artist Row at the Lobster Shanty, they traditionally cook brains for people for the zombies to eat if they choose, and I've done that. And this year I may just go as a city councilor because it's more terrifying, but zombie city councilor. But it's a really fun event. I encourage people to check it out. Show up. It's at Collins. They meet at Collins Cove that day. And they go for a walk and rampage through shamble through the area, and it's enjoyable, and it's one of those things that's it's Salem.
Any further discussion? Councilor Epley.
This is one of those rare times where literally this is a no-brainer.
I'm going to have to call you out of order for that. Any further discussion?
I would just,
Councilor Sargent.
well, Sina was mentioning a very uniquely funny Salem moment. I got to admit, I never paid much attention to the zombie walk and wasn't that interested in it. My son was running a fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club at the old Immaculate Conception School on Hawthorne Boulevard. And I was standing out front, working the door. A bagpiper had asked me earlier where the church was, so I knew there was a wedding going on. And I was standing out there, and I heard the bagpiper start, and I was going to kind of look down and watch the bride and groom leave the church, as I had done some years ago from the same church. And right around the corner came the sirens, and the wedding met the zombie walk. And what a uniquely Salem moment. If I had a video camera, I could have made $10,000 on America's Funniest Video. So I was at the Park and Rec when they were applying there one year talking about that, and the woman in the audience said, that was my wedding. So it was just quite a thing to see. There's I don't know how many zombies meet the wedding party. That was it.
Any further discussion?
Good luck, I guess.
Seeing none, on Councilor Famico's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The zombies will be walking. Where are we heading next for?
Finish the petitions.
What page?
22.
22, okay. Further petitions?
We're starting at the top.
We doing the carnival lot?
With the Salem Y road race too.
We have the request from the Salem YMCA to hold a road race, the Which City 5K, and use of city streets on October 14, 2017 at 9 a.m.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for approval.
Under discussion?
Under discussion, the Salem Y has done this race for a few years. It's becoming an annual event, and they run a nice race, and all the monies go back to the Y, so it's a fundraiser for them. So I would move to approve.
Any further? Councilor Girat.
Thank you. I guess as the runner of the group of us. So I've done this race a number of years. Last year, we did a group costume where we were Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And if anybody knows John Young, who is a little person, he was Snow White and we were all his dwarfs. And then we even had a friend of a running buddy who was dressed as an evil witch and was running around chasing him with an apple. And it was just fantastic. And we're doing another group costume this year, so you'll have to come and check it out. And this is just a fantastic race, and everybody has a great time. And people come from all over because, especially since it's October, this is when a lot of people are visiting, of course. And so this ends up being a big fundraiser for the Y, and so I strongly support this.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, under Councillor McCarthy's motion for approval, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petition.
Request from Fiesta Shows to hold a carnival at 289 Derby Street from October 13th through October 31st from 3 p.m. on weekdays and noon to 10 p.m. on weekends.
Councillor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for approval.
Under discussion?
Undiscussed. There he is. I was wondering, Mr. Dean. I couldn't see Mr. Dean behind me. The Fiesta Shows has been running the carnival down at 289 Derby for a number of years now, and I don't know what's going to happen next year because with the city purchasing 289 and the plans that are going to be involved in the reuse of that space and to make it in sort of an outdoor park area with a whole bunch of different vibrant things going on. And this may be the last year that I'll have to stand to approve this, and we may have to find another spot. But just so people know, the carnival is kind of one of those things that kind of came up because a lot of people come to Salem, as we all know, during the month of October. But a lot of times there's some of the different events and the different attractions that we have on, the families that come, the kids go to their parents, well, what can we do? And it's one of those things where the carnival seems to be a place where it gives the families a break to go to the carnival, take part. Mr. Dean and his group, they put on a nice show, so to speak, in that confined area. They've got it pretty much figured out. So I would move for approval. It comes, I mean, I know I've had conversations with every police chief that I've had the pleasure of serving with over the last 10 years. All three of them say, Bob, is one of these things we got to make sure it works and get right because it actually does function. It does have a function. So I look forward to having a conversation with Mr. Dean at some point after he gets through this season. I'm sure Alan and others are going to be having a conversation as to where the show might end up, because I really believe that in the next 6 months to a year from now, we're going to have a space there. We're going to be looking at different sorts of activities that are going to be going on during the month of October. And unfortunately, this show will kind of be, will kind of be displaced, and we'll have to find another home for it. So, but with that, if anyone has any questions of Mr. Dean, he's made himself available tonight. I would move to waive the rules to ask any questions, but if not, I would move for approval.
Any discussion or any questions or any objection to waiving the rules to answer any questions? No? Okay. On Councilor McCarthy's motion for approval, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Thank you.
The matter carries. Petitions?
Request from New England Open Market 617 Productions for use of Salem Common to have beer garden during the Food Truck Festival on Saturday, September 30th, 2017, and October 1st, 2017, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. to serve beer, wine, and cider, applying to licensing board on 9/18.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for approval.
Under discussion?
Yeah, we've had many events with things like this in the past. Quite frankly, I don't think we even need to have the fencing that is like a jail there. I attended an event in Lynn a couple months ago. It was their mural festival, and it was Bentwater Brewery there, and people could actually walk around the streets. It wasn't in this fenced-in area. In this particular site in question, we're requiring them to have 2 layers of fencing, security guards, and there's police details. Yet we have how many bars in the city that sometimes there's crowds just as large as this that are in a line outside of an establishment. So I think that part is pretty ridiculous that we require those levels of security in the city. No problem having this there. I think it's great. I like that they mentioned already having the recycling, because we've been doing that, and just to make sure that empties out throughout the time there. but it's a great asset. Last year was a lot of fun. A lot of people did the typical food trucks. My friend and I went and tried a little bit of foods that we'd never had before. It was well done. We have table areas, everything else. I'm hoping that maybe if we could make it that the city council, if everyone's okay, just asking if perhaps instead of having to buy their own fencing for two of it, for 2 layers, if maybe our city could then provide at least 1 layer of this corralled-in area that we're requiring. If we could ask that of that, but no problem with this. I think it's great, and I'm glad we finally do events like this, even though it's a jail-like environment.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I also support this. We've had a lot of events down at the Common of this nature in recent years. We have during the bike race, we have the beer garden. We've done this at other things. I know we did what turned out to be something new for the final of Drive-In movie last month, where instead of having a penned-in area, they simply allowed Winter Island Park itself to be the area and had the alcohol vendors with the food vendors, and everybody was contained within the park. If there's some way to handle access that it's a little bit less restrictive, I hope the licensing board will do that when they take this up on Monday for their approval, and I'll try and go and suggest that they do such a thing. But I do completely support this. The first event of its kind was last year. It was incredibly well attended, so much that most of the vendors ran out of food by the middle of the afternoon on the first day. And they didn't realize it would be so big, and they all had to come back with more. So it's worked out really well so far. I hope it's kind of the first step towards doing more of this in the city as well, something we've looked at a little bit as a group this year, and I think it's a good start.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Councilor Famico's motion? All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Can we find one-way Endicott Street?
Yeah. It's,
Can we move to page 12? It's the resident parking, actually.
Communications from the mayor.
Oh, sorry, I gave you the wrong page completely. Page 15, sorry, Madam
Page
President.
15?
16, actually.
16.
Page 16, sorry.
Page 16. Motions, orders, and resolutions.
City of Salem in the year 2017, an ordinance to repeal an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B. Oh, this is the wrong one. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 75. Parking Prohibitions. Oh, sorry about that. Towing zones. Resident parking is hereby amended by adding the following. Summer Street, Zone D, color yellow, Summer Street, easterly side from Endicott Street to Broad Street. Resident sticker parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. Move for adoption for first passage.
Under discussion?
Yep, as mentioned earlier, we had a good amount of the folks here sign off on this resident parking. It also does include the old school at Broad and Summer for that. And so around on Gedney Street also has some resident parking. Just a forewarning for the folks that live in this street. Our second passage of this will be taking place by the end of this month. So later on tonight, you'll hear something about adding Summer Street to the October signage, the orange signs. You'll actually before then have to come into City Hall to get your resident sticker and as well as the guest pass. And for that, there's certain requirements. It's usually your license, a utility bill. It's all online for that. But when that comes into Halloween times, you'll be able to park on your part of the street. When it turns over to regular parking at Endicott down to Margin, with your sticker, you're actually not able to park there during the month of October. It's due to 2 different ordinances. It's every year it comes up, but just a heads up on that. And after we have the second passage of that at the end of the month, you could go in soon thereafter the mayor signs it to get your sticker right downstairs here.
Any further discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Councilor Sargent?
Just for the sake of discussion, I wanted to bring this up, the fact that this was a originally applied for from Broad Street to Mount Vernon Street. And could I get a show of hands from the people who spoke? Are you between Mount Vernon and Broad Street? Do we have anybody here that's between Mount Vernon and Endicott Street? What I'm getting at is that this was amended by the Parking and Traffic Advisory Commission to go down to Endicott Street, and I don't think the people from between Mount Vernon and Endicott Street know about this, and they're gonna wake up to find out that they need to go down and get those same passes and pay money for a pass and get guest passes. And I'll take a shot at amending it from Mount Vernon to Broad, because this is the first time that I can ever recall that somebody is going to get resident sticker parking in front of their house without asking for it. So the people between Mount Vernon and Endicott Street haven't asked for this. The people between Mount Vernon and Broad Street have, and we'd be glad to give it to them. But correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but that's the application that came into the Park and Rec Board, and so it was amended, and I say that's the first time somebody's going to get resident sticker parking in front of their house, and they haven't asked for it, and they may not know about it. So I'll yield, and if anybody else wants to discuss it, I'd like to make a motion to amend it to go from Mount Vernon to Broad, and then if the other section asks for it, we can add that later on. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion on Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a concern about amending it. We have a Traffic and Parking Commission, and part of the problem is that we have some traffic and parking regulations that still are stalled in the OLA committee, and they've not come out. I don't know if that's because there are some councilors who don't want that power to be given to the professionals rather than the politicians. But that's my concern. And so I want to go by what the Traffic and Parking Commission suggested, and so I will be voting no on the amendment.
Any further discussion? On Councilor Sargent's motion to amend this to extend it, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
The matter does not carry. Now we have Councilor Famico's motion for adoption for first passage. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Councilor Terrio.
I move that, Madam President, I move that we, unless there's something else here, I move that we finally return to our regular order. So that'd be, page 6.
Councilor Epley, I think this...
Thank you, Madam President. I actually move that we go out of order. Thank you. To page 10, relative to the second item, a resolution.
Communications from the mayor.
We have a resolution in support of Massachusetts House Bill 2683, Senate Bill 1845, to protect gas and electricity consumers.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. I do want to read the resolution so that we understand what we're passing this evening. I'm in strong support of this. This has been something that has been talked about within the Public Health, Safety, and Environment Committee. It's been talked about within the Lorax Committee, and the reason why we're taking this up out of order is we actually have fantastic representation here from SAFE here in Salem. Here to listen tonight. They've been tireless advocates for reducing gas emissions, natural gas emissions throughout the state, but particularly here in Salem. So this is a resolution in support of the Massachusetts House Bill 2683 and Senate Bill 1845 to protect gas and electricity consumers. Whereas Massachusetts House Bill 2683 and Senate Bill 1845, and I'll just call it the bill going forward, is an act relative to protecting consumers of gas and electricity from paying for leaked and unaccounted for gas. that seeks to protect all gas and electricity customers, whether businesses, manufacturers, homeowners, and municipalities, or other gas users, from paying for UFG by prohibiting providers from including the cost of UFG, as well as the costs of reducing or remedying loss in the rate base. And whereas, according to the bill, unaccounted for gas, or UFG, is the difference between the total gas available from all sources that's acquired by a system type and the total gas accounted for as sales, net interchange, or company use. And whereas the bill covers leakage or loss by leakage or loss due to discrepancies from measuring or monitoring inaccuracies, variations of temperatures or pressure, or both, and other circumstances. And whereas the bill will provide economic incentive to gas providers to develop improved technologies and practices for transportation, distribution, and storage. And whereas the cost of UFG is typically passed on from providers of natural gas to users or consumers of gas. And whereas leaking gas in the ground is harmful to vegetation and can kill valuable shade trees by depriving roots of oxygen. And whereas methane is a precursor to ozone formation that can decrease lung function and aggravate asthma, therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and City Council of Salem strongly supports House Bill 2683, Senate Bill 1845, and urge the Massachusetts Legislature to take action to support this measure to protect consumers and the environment. Resolved that the city clerk shall forward a copy of this resolution to the elected Salem delegation in the House and the Senate, as well as House Speaker Robert A. DeLeo and Senate President Stanley C. Rosenberg, and to the governor on behalf of the city of Salem. And just very briefly, Madam President, we're going to be planting approximately 219 trees across the city in shade trees along our streets in the coming fiscal year. And one of the things that SAFE has been phenomenal about trying to educate us about is that natural gas really does impact not only our residents, but it impacts our street trees. And we will be able to use some testing equipment to ensure that those particular tree wells that we're planting in don't currently have leaks that are poisonous. In other words, we'll be saving money in the process. But there's no reason to be planting a new tree in a place that's a poisoned area. And we can obviously try to fix that as well. But anyway, I'll stop there, and if anyone else wishes to speak, but I would ask that we pass this evening.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I've spoken on this in the last couple of meetings. This is a really important issue before the city. I've been out with volunteers with testing probes, testing natural gas leaks on Buchanan Road and Auburn Road. We've gotten some smaller leaks fixed. Today we were out, I spent about 3.5 hours on this today. We were out on March Street today, and it's without even getting near where the leak was, the entire neighborhood of March Street was smelling of natural gas. I immediately called it in to the fire department and to the gas company, but I learned a lot today. I already knew what the categories of the leaks were and which ones the gas company kind of drags their feet to get these things repaired, but it's 5 years. A gas leak that is not in a structure, or not in a house, not in a garage, not in a catch basin, things that are in the middle of the street, they can wait 5 years to make this replacement. It's not fair to a neighborhood to be smelling this gas. And what happens if they're smelling it day after day after day, and there's a leak over here? They're just going to not bother calling because they think it's the same smell. So there is no non-important gas leak. All leaks should be repaired for a lot of common sense reasons. Before we go too much further than this, I'd like to ask to have the rules suspended so that Pat Gazemba from SAFE can address this very briefly, please.
Seeing no objection?
Thank you, Councillor Dibble, and thank you, councillors, for allowing me to speak. I was out with Councillor Dibble today for 3.5 hours, and prior to that, I was out with Dave Rowan, who was on the SAFE board, for approximately 6 hours before that, testing gas leaks. And to your point, Dave Epley, Councillor Epley, SAFE was able to get $500 grant money from Professor Nathan Phillips at BU to hire Bob Ackley of Gas Safety Infrastructure to come out and do the testing of some of those tree sites that were announced this week as being the sites where 219 trees are going to be planted. David and I and Bob Ackley were able to go to 20 of those tree sites today. 10 of them are poisoned with gas. They've already been marked by the city with dig safe marks as the places where the trees are going to be planted. The city has also told us what kind of trees, the street addresses. It's all public knowledge at this point. But we know definitely that 10 of the 20 sites that we tested are poisoned, and we should not put trees in those sites. So that just gives you a little bit more information about the unreliability of the reports that National Grid has given us about gas leaks that are in this city. And we're going to work further to refine the data that we collected in August of 2016 about the gas leaks in the city of Salem, and hopefully we can begin to clean up some of this act. But I think it's really important for you to pass this supportive resolution for the House and Senate bill so that we can get our legislature to put some muscle behind this, not just the city of Salem pushing the gas utilities, and it's all the 3 gas utilities, big ones in Massachusetts, but to push to get the gas leaks fixed in a more expeditious way. We will not be the first state that did this. There are 13 other states that have already passed legislation protecting consumers for paying for this lost and unaccounted for gas. So we're late to the party a little bit, but I think it would be really great if we could get this out of Salem and save ourselves some money. In the greater Boston area alone, each year, according to some 2015 data, $90 million worth of gas is escaped in the metro Boston area. Across the whole state, it's about $190 million. So we know where the gas is leaking. The gas company, I think, knows more about where the gas is leaking. I think it's time for us all to share our information and get this cleaned up. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think it's about $1 billion, too, for over 10 years. So it's significant. Councilor Dibble.
Yep. Thank you, Madam President. Just to follow up, thank you, Pat, for your words. It was a pleasure working with them today, but also Dave and all the SAFE volunteers. I've spent a few hours with Dave. I mentioned a couple streets earlier, Buchanan Road and Auburn, with the SAFE instruments. Buchanan, just to put the residents at home at ease a little bit, Buchanan had a clean slate. There was no evidence of gas as we probed around. On Auburn Road, the rate was pretty high. It was 4 to 8% of gas being leaked. And we contacted the gas company, and I've been calling, it's funny, as a non-counselor for 4 years, I've been calling the gas company to get repairs done in the same location. They come out and just simply drill vent holes down the street. There's about 30 vent holes now on Auburn Road, and there's only 5 houses on Auburn Road, 6 houses, whatever the number is. So Auburn Road, I think we're going to test again the air quality there just to make sure, but I think Auburn Road is fixed. On March Street, it wasn't 4 to 8%. It was 40 to 50%. The smell, you could smell from so far away. So I contacted the utility company right away and the fire department, and I found out that this has been going on for 2 years on March Street. Heavy smell of gas, and it's not being repaired. It's very frustrating. So I got a call back finally from the supervisor from the utility companies about a half an hour before this meeting tonight, and I think they're going to be out there to finally fix this thing. And the rule is they can wait up to 5 years before they make one of these repairs. It's just not right. We're going to try to change these rules. So with that, in 2 weeks, I'll be submitting a gas leak ordinance. Most of you already know about it. Several of you have helped on the committee to craft some of this and to research it with me. But a gas leak ordinance similar to the city of Boston, hopefully, will be finalized in time for our next meeting. And I wholeheartedly encourage us to vote for this resolution tonight and not to put it in committee like we often want to and often we need to. This one just simply can't wait. Let's vote for it and get it out. And as a result of this resolution, I think that we'll find more progress from the gas company to make these repairs. They're needed now. We shouldn't wait. So please, let's vote on this tonight and make it unanimous. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Epley's motion for roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Counselor Terrio?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famiko?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. On the matter of the resolution in support of House Bill 2683, Senate Bill 1845 to protect gas and electricity consumers, we have 10 councilors voting, 1 absent, 10 in the affirmative. The matter carries. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. If we could we take page 18, communications from city officials? One last item before we go back.
Besides that, so.
What's that?
I see one more besides that.
There's one more besides that?
Yeah.
Can't see behind me. No, it's 18.
Page 11 too, so.
What's that?
We do page 11
What's
first?
page 11? As long as we get
Yes, do 11 first.
11's first, that's fine.
Page 11, communications from the mayor,
Do
the
that.
first matter.
We have an order that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute an easement agreement to Richard Gigalto Jr. as set forth in the attached easement grant and as shown on the attached plan entitled Plan of Land located at 4 Parker Court, Salem, Mass.
Councilor Ryan.
I move adoption by roll call vote.
Under discussion?
I had talked to Mr. Jagolta about it, and it was a private street that was, a private road that was turned into a city street, and he's worked it out with the city solicitor to put that land back, and this is what this is for. I don't think it needs to go to committee, but if someone wants to send it to committee, I don't have a problem with voting on it tonight.
Any further discussion? Councilor McCarthy, Councilor Sargent.
I'll defer to Council Sergeant for.
Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. I would agree with Councilor Ryan. There's nothing you could do about this outside of moving the house. This was a private road, private land, and the abutters get together and allow it to become a public street, and there's just a little small piece that used to be part of the private road that's now part of the public road that we have to give back to Mr. Jacolta, so his title's clean, so he can buy and sell the property, so insurance can insure it properly, all those little things that have to be done, we need to do to help him. It's a situation that he didn't create, and we can't correct outside of moving the house, so it's something that I would normally say put something in committee, but this is just the way it is, and we have to help him. Thank you.
Councilor McCarthy.
I wholeheartedly agree. This goes back to something that was done years and years ago, back with previous administration, previous public works director, way back, and they took every private way in the city and made it public streets in order to upgrade the amount of linear feet of street in the city in order to, so we could apply for more Chapter 90 money. Period at a sentence. So they took every single one of these private ways and just incorporated them into public streets in order to increase the amount of streets so we're eligible for a larger percentage. It's coming back to bite us now. We got to fix it. So let's fix it. I mean, I had a brief conversation with the city solicitor after receiving a phone call at my house about this. I wholeheartedly agree with everything that's been said. There shouldn't be any more discussion on this. This is something that, with no fault of theirs, it just happened, and we just need to correct it.
Any further discussion? Seeing none on Councilor Ryan's motion for adoption by roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Counselor Terrio? Yes. Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famiko?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of authorizing the mayor to execute an easement to Richard W. Jagolta for 4 Parker Court, we have 10 councilors voting, 1 absent, 10 in the affirmative. The matter carries. Where shall we go now, ladies and gentlemen?
Communications to city officials, page 18, please.
18?
Actually, do the next one. Oh, we can do the next one, hold on. I can't see behind me.
Oh, further communications from the mayor. What are we doing? Next
Page
item?
Next one.
11. Second
Renaming.
item.
The next one?
Sorry.
The next one?
City Renewable Energy Task Force.
Okay. We have an order that the City Council renames the Renewable Energy Task Force as the Sustainability, Energy, and Resiliency Committee.
Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem, City Council in the year 2017, order that the City Council renames the Renewable Energy Task Force as the Sustainability, Energy, and Resiliency Committee. Tongue twister.
Sir.
Under discussion.
Move for adoption?
Yeah, move for adoption.
Under
Now on
discussion?
Well, I guess as a former employee of a coal and oil-fired power plant, I was nominated to work on this renewable energy task force thing. How ironic. I could work on a windmill at the old coal-fired power plant, I guess, someday. But I'm glad to bring it in. If it makes things work smoother, I'm all for it. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Sargent's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries.
Page 18.
Councilor Terrio? where was
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we go out of order yet again to page 18, communications from city officials.
18,
Which one?
communications from city officials. The first item on the page, correct?
We have a communication from Tom Daniel, City Planner, regarding the zoning amendment to change the zoning designation of 204, 206, 214, 222 Derby Street from residential 2-family R2 to central development B5, outlining the mechanism to include these 4 parcels in the urban renewal boundary first, and then rezone to B5. Per the city solicitor, the rezoning could be approved by the city council with an effective date specified many months in the future. If the council supports the rezoning, an effective date of May 1st, 2018 would provide enough time for the urban renewal boundary to be completed at the municipal and state levels.
Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Madam President. First, whereas a communication from city official, I move that it be received and placed on file.
And Councilor McCarthy's motion that this be received and placed on file. All those in favor? All those opposed? Councilor McCarthy?
Secondly, at this time, I'd also move to suspend the rules. I know Mr. Daniel is with us this evening. My apprehension on this is regards to the second part of this is I really feel like it's kind of putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. And I understand the different property owners asking for this, and at the same time as we had a meeting and there was a lot of concerns, they wanted a lot more layer. The urban renewal boundary was one of those safeguards or mechanisms that was talked about. If that's put in place, I believe that it would leave a lot of questions and concerns, and then the residents who had issues could come back and say, hey, listen, those safeguards are in place, we support this. It's kind of like, yeah, we're going to pass it and then wait and put it to a date that we don't know. I mean, we're going to apply for the boundaries, we don't know if they're going to be approved. So then if we approve something and put a date certain to it, and those boundaries don't get amended or approved, then we're going to be back in front of this body and repealing this. So I'm not really sure what the whole process is involved. So at this time, I'd like to briefly allow Mr. Daniels to address us and ask to respond to why his typically we only see the second part of this. We just see the planning board's recommendation back to us. We're receiving a letter first. I'd like for him to clarify that, and then we can move to the second part.
Sure. Seeing no objection to suspension of the rules, Mr. Daniel?
Thank you, Madam President, members of the council. Councilor McCarthy, thank you. The letter was intended to provide additional information to you. At the planning board discussion of this matter after the joint public hearing, as their recommendation to you states, they They were supportive of the rezoning, but they were only supportive if the urban renewal boundary were modified. They heard the comments from the public and shared those concerns about there not being design control, as well as the power to prevent demolition without the urban renewal boundary being amended first. And we were not certain during that discussion, what mechanism, how their recommendation could come forward to you, making that a contingent action. So their recommendation too was to deny. And at such time, if the urban renewal boundary were amended, then they would support it. Subsequent to the meeting, I've discussed the matter with the city solicitor, had additional information from staff at the Department of Housing and Community Development, and the city solicitor indicated that, in fact, if the body were supportive of the rezoning, you could set a date in the future that would allow the urban renewal boundary process amendment to take place. So that process, all we would be doing is looking at changing the boundary. We would not be opening up the plan for other geographic additions or other changes to the plan. That's a much more extensive process. But narrowly looking at amending the boundary to pick up those properties is something we believe could be done at the municipal level yet this calendar year, and then go to DHCD. They have 60 days to approve it. So we added in some cushion, and that's where the May 1st date came from. The process requires a public hearing for the City Council support. It requires a vote of the redevelopment authority, requires certification from the planning board that the amendment is consistent with the city's plan. Those are the basic requirements for the amendment, and obviously the documentation, the amendment of the process, and what those changes are. But again, it's the action contemplated would be a boundary change and not changes to the plan's activities or looking to pick up other properties.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you to Mr. Daniels. I guess my only, I probably have a whole series of questions, but my first initial question is the amendment of the boundary, is the only way the amended boundary can happen is if we vote to change the zoning, or can you, with the underlying zoning, can it stay R2 and then amend the boundaries and then come back after the fact? That would be my question.
Through you, Madam President, yes, the zoning can stay in effect, and the urban renewal boundary amendment process could be initiated.
Thank you.
Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. Might I recommend that we just keep this a clean process and let things be debated on their own merit? This is backing into a very difficult and important thing. I would recommend that we take the planning board's recommendation to deny, then allow the process to begin for the urban renewal district to change, then a possible rezoning comes in, all cleaned up on its own merit and debated as a rezoning. Not with so many ifs, ands, and buts involved, and we could keep it a cleaner process. The neighbors could understand it. If they were to support it, I think they'd be more likely to support something they could understand. I don't think the average person is going to be able to understand the rezoning put in with the urban renewal process. I think it's going to make it a very convoluted process, and I would recommend that we keep it a clean process and as easy to understand as possible for all the parties involved. Thank you.
Any further discussions or questions for Mr. Daniel? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. After our meeting on this, our joint public hearing with the planning board, right before we closed, I gave some strong comments in opposition to making changes there, that if it's not broken, don't fix it. The properties have functioned in a successful way for years and years. They look good. The commercial properties really change in use. It's been the same occupants for a decade or longer on all of them, some of them 4 decades. I received 2 phone calls from 2 residents that live right behind these properties, not on the properties. One person I've known for a while, and one person I didn't know at all, and they thanked me for speaking up to help save their neighborhood and save from future growth on those 4 properties. How can we reach out along this along this process to the abutters in that whole area, to our city planner, through you, Madam Chair? We need to do a better job to let all the abutters in that whole area, the side streets, it's a wonderful neighborhood. We need to protect that neighborhood and give them a voice. How can we let them know that this meeting is coming up in the future? Because the last meeting, they didn't get the word. Thank you.
Council McCarthy.
Yes, Madam President. With all due respect to the good Ward 7 council, he doesn't know what he's talking about on this one, because the notices did go out. We had a meeting. The specific properties, when the first meeting we had, the attorney is present in the room tonight. We went through with the city clerk's office. The assistant city clerk and myself went through the list, and we developed the list and notified every single residence within a certain area of those sites. We went beyond the scope of notification that is required. So for the good Ward 7 councilor to say that, I really take offense to that, because he was not involved in the process. My ward, we went through the process. I worked with the city clerk's office as well, and the city clerk's office worked with the attorney representing to make sure, because that came out from the first meeting when we continued it. So that we went through the process of making sure people were notified. And people were notified. That's why in the second meeting, because in the first meeting, no one was willing to say anything, because we were all appalled at the process of how people were notified. So in the second meeting, we made sure that the process was, in fact, because we were all, when something like this was to happen, we assumed it would happen like if someone was looking to put an addition on the back of their home, and all the abutters would get notification because they were looking for variances relative to side setbacks or whatever the issue may be. That didn't happen. So we went back and we identified, and we went through the list, and I give kudos to the assistant city clerk and the clerk's office for going through that process to make sure that those people were notified. So at first I would say, talk to someone before you make a statement like that in public, because I will say that people were notified. Okay? And so now we're to a point now where there's a recommendation. I wholeheartedly agree with Councilor Sargent. With no due respect to the attorney representing the properties, I think that if we're going to extend the urban renewal boundaries, we need to do that. And that's the second part of this. Right now we're talking about the first part, which is the reception of the letter. We haven't even gotten into the second part yet about the recommendation. So we're not going to talk about putting the cart before the horse. Let's not make statements before we're actually dealing with the thing we're actually dealing with. So right now we're talking about the letter from Mr. Daniels, and we're talking for clarification about what the process would be. And now the second part will be the recommendation from the planning department and how we deal with that. So that will be the second part of this. But just for everyone's clarification at home, we did notify the abutters to the abutters to the abutters, and if the good Ward 7 council wants to have a conversation with the assistant city clerk as to how that process worked, he's more than happy to he can have that conversation, because we did go through that process and we made sure that everyone right there in that neighborhood was notified. Thank you.
Councilor Famico?
Thank you, Madam President. With this in particular, I think it needs to go beyond just extending the boundaries of the redevelopment authority. As it currently stands, we have a lot of things within that document that are not enforced, as well as some areas that need to be added. It's not just extending the boundaries. There's things like new businesses being opened up downtown, and the signage they're putting up is a banner, because it's not specified in that document that that can't be as such. There are other things about the process for even approving those signs that it was changed by some of the boards and commissions for that. Things like lighting that aren't discussed, other things that just really need to be clarified, some guidelines that are kind of out of date. So we need to look at a lot of that. It's just beyond extending the boundaries, and especially doing it for a couple of properties. And while we're looking at a date in the future for this, if we were to open it up more, which I think we should, especially we're about to get the results of the Imagine Salem visioning process, looking at different cities and towns across the state, this can take up to a year. If we were going to all of a sudden put this as an arbitrary date in May, we're forcing something through. If a hiccup comes or whatever else, whatever is in place for zoning at the time that somebody submits something is when they can go forward with. So in general, I think it is time that we just hit pause on it and really reconsider all of it before just looking at one particular area for this. But I'd also note that I have an email into the Department of Housing and Community Development at the state, because they're the ones that really oversee the zoning for all of this. If you look on the Zoning Act online, it actually brings you right to their site to ask their council questions about this, because I had some questions about the approval date for that, Madam President.
Do we have any other counselors that have any questions relative to Mr. Daniel's letter? Seeing none?
So,
okay.
thank you. And again, the intent for the communication was just so you had the full information. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that's on file. Let's go to further communications from city officials, which is the item that we've pretty much been discussing.
We have a communication from the planning board with their recommendation of denial of the request of the zoning amendment to change the zoning designation of 204, 206, 214, 222 Derby Street from residential two-family R2 to central development B5, because changing the zoning without changing the urban renewal area presented two primary concerns: the lack of both design and demolition oversight. However, at such time the urban renewal area is extended, the planning board would be in favor of rezoning 204, 206, 214, and 222 Derby Street to central development B5. The planning board unanimously supported the B5 zoning designation. The motion to deny was based on factor that 4 parcels to be included in the urban renewal area prior to the rezoning to ensure there will be design and demolition oversight.
Council McCarthy.
It's Council Ryan.
Oh, I thought you were going to take it because it's your ward. Councilor Ryan.
First, motion to receive and place on file, and then I'd say go with the planning board recommendation of denial and like not putting the cart before the horse.
Okay, on Councilor Ryan's motion for acceptance of the planning board decision? Under discussion? Councilor Terrio?
Thank you, Madam President. I've been listening to this, and I'm thoroughly in support. We do need to address some of our urban renewal area regulations. That's something that has become clear over the last year or so. And without the oversight that zoning something B5 without putting it into the urban renewal area basically gives you all the benefits of being in the downtown with none of the restrictions and none of the oversight. So I myself would be supportive. I think I would be supportive of a rezoning to B5 so long as we did this. But I agree with the at-large councilor that instead of trying to do this with we'll put it to this date, we'll put it to that date, that effective only if, I suggest that it's going to take a while for them to address the urban renewal boundaries. It's going to take some time. It's a whole process involved. So I recommend we accept that the planning board's recommendation to deny, and then move forward probably next year once the process has gone through.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Madam President. If I could ask this for a suspension of the rules for a second to ask something of the city planner. Just want to clarify, isn't it if something is denied, it can't be brought back before council visit for 2 years?
Is there any objection to the suspension of the rules? First, let's just clarify that. Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know I don't know what the law is on the rezoning petition. If it's, I can't speak to that.
Councilor Epley.
It's a calendar.
I defer to the city clerk, Your Honor.
It's a calendar year, so that if it's denied in this calendar year, come January, it can come.
I think for zoning it might be too, though.
I don't believe so. It's anything that's denied by the council in a calendar year.
I also, will you?
Okay. Sergeant Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Might I also add that what I think we're about to do is more in keeping with the master plan, where, looking back 20 years ago and what they planned going forward, was looking towards the future, looking to protect neighborhoods, put the urban renewal district in a certain spot. And if we go through the process with the urban renewal district extended first, it'll be more in keeping with the master plan, with a vision for the future, more than just looking at one parcel at a time, piecemeal. And then I would recommend that, I think what we should be doing is moving for approval and then voting no, than to get into a negative of moving for denial. So so a no vote would not rezone. So that we keep it as a positive vote.
Right.
Thank you.
Council Terrio, Council Repley.
Thank you, Madam President. I recall last year when, although most of us are probably trying to forget at this point last year, when we were doing this debate over FW Web and that project, when it was first before us for the zoning that we did not, when we didn't, that was pulled from the table at that point because denying it would not have brought it forward for the remainder. That would have killed it for the remainder of that year. I recall that as being the rule at the time that was in effect. So, because it's a city council matter at that point, it's not so much a zoning thing since before the city council. So, I mean, that's my recollection of it. If you bring a matter before the city council, whether it's zoning or whatever, you can't bring it back during that calendar year. That's my understanding, at least.
Council Repley.
Thank you, Madam President. My suggestion would be to the body to accomplish what I think the majority, if not all of us, want, would be to table this matter. That would allow, if there is a subsequent request that's filed prior to the end of the calendar year, we could take it up.
Councilor McCarthy.
The other factor that no one's actually paying attention to is the fact that it's time sensitive. So if you don't deal with it in a certain amount of time, it becomes mute because it has to be dealt with in an X amount of time. So I will defer to the city clerk to better define the process because we're all making guesses and I have the ward council next to me scanning through her phone but trying to figure out if it's a 2-year or 1 year and everyone's telling her 1 but she still keeps looking through the phone to make sure it's 2. So, but defer to the person who knows the answers would be the city clerk, but this matter is time sensitive. So if once the planning department refers it back to us, we have X amount of time to act on it. If we don't act on it, then it has to go back through the process.
Right, 90 days, and I think the city clerk can clarify that. I believe we have, tell me if I'm wrong, I believe we have to pass this for first passage by the first meeting in October in order to meet the 90-day, no, okay.
It has to be passed by October 18th. You have 90 days from the close of the date of the hearing to pass the measure. Otherwise, if you don't pass it before the 90 days, you're required to hold another public hearing.
Right. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. So understanding that, rather than us voting to accept or deny the recommendation, and knowing about the expiration, just simply forcing the process to start over whenever that might be, I will move to lay this on the table and in the expectation that it would then expire and then make us have to start it again after this is done.
Okay, and that motion is non-debatable? All those in favor? All those in favor of Council Terrio's motion?
Okay, if she has a question for clarification.
Non-debatable.
Non-debatable.
It's non-debatable. What?
I think the city planner wanted.
It's non-debatable.
Okay.
So on Councilor Terrio's motion to lay this on the table, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
All right, the matter does not carry. Now, we're back to Councilor Ryan's motion to accept the recommendation of the planning board, and we're under discussion. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. Can we let the city planner address the question again? Because I think
Suspend the rules to allow Mr. Daniel to-
Thank you. Suspend the rules, please.
Seeing no objection?
Thank you.
Welcome back.
I was, Councilor Gerard saw me, where it is a zoning matter, I'm not sure what, and I looked to the city clerk, because the action that you take, I'm not sure if you take an action to put it on the table, if that constitutes, the action that needs to, an action that needs to be taken. That was my question, really, back to you about that. Because there are, and I don't know, without checking with the city solicitor about, if you table it, what happens after the 90 days? And just
Councilor McCarthy.
I move that the matter be referred to the Committee on License, Orders, and Legal Affairs.
Second? Under discussion? Seeing Councilor Sargent.
Just that we're under a certain timeline. We have to do something within that 90-day period, or we're going to be into public hearings again. We lay it on the table, that clock is still ticking. We put it in committee, that clock is still ticking. If we don't have a recommendation up or down to let it go, and let's say, for argument's sake, this the redevelopment authority isn't going to be even debated or be brought forward before January 1st. So come January 2nd, this rezoning can be reapplied for. So if we vote the planning board's recommendation, January 1st starts a whole new clock, whenever somebody might want to reapply. But at least we'll keep it clean, and instead of having it expire and have to have more public hearings on it by rule.
Councilor Famico.
Yes, Madam President. So even within our city ordinance, it does relate to state law for zoning, and state laws, if it's unfavorable, it's 2 years, it can't be held up. It can't be brought up again. So within our city ordinance, it refers to Mass state law, which within it says no proposed zoning ordinance or bylaw which has been unfavorably acted upon by a city council or town meeting shall be considered by the city council or town meeting within 2 years after the date of such unfavorable action, unless the adoption of such proposed ordinance or bylaw is recommended by the final report.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. So, waiting on hearing that, but that's where my initial motion to table came from, and I think, what we have to do in this, because there's an urban renewal process that has to go through before we're even willing to consider it, we really have a couple of choices. We can either pass this, or we can do some machinations to pass this to a certain date with all sorts of conditions on it, or we can kill it, at which point, according to the Ward 2 councilor and what she just looked up, that would preclude us from acting on it for a couple of years. So really the simplest thing here is for us to simply bury it. By either referring it back to committee and not acting on it out of that committee, or by tabling it till the point of expiration, at which point hopefully the process is going on to redefine the urban renewal boundary and then move forward. And then at that point, after the clock expires on this initial request, because we haven't acted unfavorably on it at that point, we simply let it die. By doing that, we can then move forward with a new hearing once that's happened, and the applicants won't be harmed by doing that.
Councilor McCarthy.
The action of moving it to committee allows the questions that everyone seems to be raising and everyone seems to be looking up on their phone, where the only person that can actually determine that is the city solicitor.
Bingo.
And obviously, she's not present, so all those questions should be put through her. They could have a conversation over the next 2 weeks, and if it's in committee, at that point, if the will of the committee is to move it out, then we can deal with the matter, and there's still time to deal with it, and if the will is to, so it doesn't have to be 2 years out or whatever it is, that it could be dealt with at that time. But either way, we could sit here all night debating the fact, but we don't have the answers because none of us has that crystal ball, so to speak. So if we refer it to committee, or we table it, or whatever you want to do with it, if at that point you get those questions answered from the city solicitor relative to what the intent is, and if the intent, of which I'm gathering from this body, is to let the urban renewal process happen and then restart this whole zoning thing, but at the same time we want to make sure we do it right. So my suggestion would be to move it to committee and then deal with it at the appropriate time. Because we could keep kicking it around for the next 20 minutes and be back to the same discussion.
Thank you. On Councilor McCarthy's motion to move this matter to ordinances, licenses, and legal affairs, all those in favor? All those opposed?
We didn't receive and file it vote yet.
That's the first one. Before we bang that,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what she...
excuse me, Madam President, before you bang the gavel and take that order up, the attorney representative of the property wants to briefly, Mr. Daniels briefly had a discussion. I don't want to open up for another debate. I just want to hear what his thoughts are on this, because, well, obviously, he's going to be in conversation with the city solicitor over the next couple of weeks. Briefly, if Mr. Quinn could be, he's right here in the room.
You see the place?
No.
We didn't vote on it.
Evening. Thanks for all the time. I think, given the sense, well, let me say two things. You have a unique opportunity tonight to lock these buildings down if you want to do it. If you want to see them go in the urban renewal district and you want the city to get the machinery going to amend the urban renewal district to put these buildings in, you have the will of the people that own the buildings, the goodwill to do it, and their agreement to allow it to happen, their willingness to participate in the process. Like politics, law, sometimes the timing is everything. And if you really want to prevent these buildings from being demolished because they're under the jurisdiction of the Design Review Board, and have the SRA be able to make long-term design decisions about the impact of these lots on the district and the values that they're promoting, you actually do have the opportunity to do that now. Because the city solicitor and the city planner have given you the path. The path is approve it with the language the city solicitor communicated to, I think, all of you today, which basically says if it isn't approved by a date in April that she specified, it's a condition and it fails. And if it has not, and if it fails because the urban renewal district has not been modified, the zoning reverts to the existing zoning. So there's no real, as far as I can see, there's no real risk that something's going to slip through the cracks and somehow you're going to approve something that doesn't end up in the urban renewal district. It's either going to be in the urban renewal district or your vote is going to be voided by the language of that the city solicitor gave you. So it's really, to me, it's a win-win. I know it doesn't sound like you look at it that way, and I understand your concerns, but if you want these buildings, we listened to all the people that were here at the other hearings who were concerned about high-rises and changes in the buildings and acquisition of other parcels to add to a bigger development in the neighborhood. And I told you at the time, and I know my talk it's not cheap, but it's not always listened to. That's not their intention, but again, I understand times change, people change, etc., intentions change. When I walk out the door tonight, if this is denied, there is no one that can prevent these people, if they wanted to, and I have no indication they want to, knock those buildings down, okay? You have a demolition delay ordinance in the city that delays things for 6 months and then it's done. None of the boards that would have jurisdiction on any proposal on these lots have any authority to prevent demolition. They do have a lot of authority over design, height, parking, all those things. But if you really don't want the buildings to ever be demolished based on their character that people testified to here a few weeks ago, they need to be in the Design Review Board's jurisdiction because they're the only municipal body that has that authority. All right, and we have cooperated and encouraged the city to change the boundaries because we think the trade-off of getting some relief in terms of the tenancies that we can put in there and the ease with which we can do it is worth giving up some other things, which are like, are we ever going to build a high-rise there? Or put 40 units in over the bunghole, or some really unlikely but feared, apparently, outcome. So it's frustrating to me, and I don't mean to take it out on you at all, but I really think you have an opportunity with this to do something where you can tell your constituents, we lock those properties down. They'll never be demolished without the Design Review Board, which represents the whole city and the whole district, approving it. And that's an accomplishment. That's an accomplishment for people that don't want overdevelopment, okay? And letting the opportunity go by tonight and hoping that the city will have the energy, the time, and the will to amend the district and that my clients will feel as cooperative then as they do now to go along with it, I don't know how that's going to go. So that's the downside of putting this off without taking advantage of the opportunity. So that's, of course, your decision. But I did want to lay it out there for you. Other than that, I was just going to say, if you're all as uncomfortable with it as it seems, I'll withdraw it. And if you'll allow me leave to withdraw it, we'll take it. The effect will be that you don't have to worry about time frames, and you can move forward and see what happens in the city, and the property owners will make their decisions as they go.
Councilor Rep.
Thank you, Madam President. Part of this, I think, goes back to the fact that we've just taken a 2-month leave, and that this has basically been sort of sitting there for a while. If we do go into, my intent in voting yes to putting this into committee is to cross the Ts and dot the Is. That's an opportunity for us to do that in committee. Because I don't see the will of this body supporting what you're wanting to do tonight.
I see that.
So I think by allowing this to go into committee, perhaps that is something that can be worked out, that we can feel more comfortable in passing after it's been in committee, so that we have a full understanding of what's going on. I think that makes a heck of a lot of sense. So I don't necessarily think that your walking out tonight is the end of the process. It could be, but I think we need to allow the, and I'm sorry, Madam President, for not speaking directly to
That's okay.
Mr. Quinn. But if we have that discussion within committee, maybe we can resolve that there and bring it up at the next council meeting.
So, Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. I was thinking of suggesting that same thing, withdrawing without prejudice. Now, we don't have to worry about the clock. If the redevelopment authority at the downtown district changes, something can happen right away. There's no worry about a 2-year time period, any kind of time period. The worry about demo, I don't think is that much, because we have the R2 grandfathered. I don't think it's not likely somebody's going to demo a commercial building in the R2 district and then only be able to rebuild something, or the possibility of rebuilding something under R2 zoning. So I think we're okay with that. I don't think these buildings are going to be demoed. And I'm all for a good, clean start where we can be looking at one thing at a time. And I really believe the withdrawing without prejudice would accomplish that. And I yield the floor. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to declare the vote on Council McCarthy's vote that this move to OLA, the motion passes. And then we can have this discussion in OLA, because we did already vote on it.
So just, can I ask, does that mean it's laid on the table for the moment? Or what happened?
No, it's
In
going to
committee,
OLA.
I'm sorry, excuse me. All right.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to talk to, not I will, but if one of you wants to talk to the city solicitor and make sure that there are no time frame problems arising from this, I'm perfectly willing to get a phone call that says it's got to be acted on by a certain time, and if there's no willingness to take it out, we'll withdraw it then.
Yeah.
All right? So,
Absolutely. Yep, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to return to regular order of business on page 6.
Page 6. God. You have to change the date on it. Page 6.
Appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Chris Cantone to serve as a member of the Salem Renewable Energy Task Force with a term to expire on September 14, 2020.
Councilor Repley.
Held under the rules.
Councilor Repley moves that this be held under the rules. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of the following to serve as members of the Designer Selection Committee with their terms to expire on September 14, 2020.
Councilor Fiore. Oh, go ahead.
Thomas St. Pierre, Tom Daniel, and Jenna Ide, or their designees.
Councilor Fiore.
Madam President, I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Fiore moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection.
I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Fiore moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
If I may. The City of Salem is required to have a design review selection committee to review proposals for designer services for city projects. A number of urgent projects are in the pipeline now, and the committee's review, including the Forest River upgrades, the common bandstand improvements, and a host of other projects. And this committee's previous terms have all expired. So it's required that we renew each of these people. We just had the opportunity to have Mr. Daniel, our city planner, speak tonight, and how lucky we are to have the caliber of Mr. St. Pierre, Mr. Daniel, Ms. Jenna Idle in this design and selection committee. And just shows you that how important it is to have this, all these people done, wrapped up tonight for our choice tonight. So I thank each one for possibly being on the designer selection committee, because I think most cities and towns will give their right arm to have what's going on in Salem. And we're very lucky to have Tom Daniel speak tonight. Top notch. Thank you.
On Council Fury's motion, all those in favor?
Roll call vote. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Madam Clerk?
Counselor Terrio?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes. On the matter of the appointments to the Design Selection Committee, we have 10 councilors voting, 1 absent, 10 in the affirmative. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Lorianne Girardelli, 29 Castle Road, Nahat, to the position of Finance Director/Auditor with a term to expire on January 31st, 2020.
Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be held under the rules.
On Councilor Gerard's motion, this be held under the rules. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further appointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Stephen Cummings, 241 North Street, Salem, to the position of Assistant Building Inspector with a term to expire September 14, 2019.
Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Madam President. I also move that this be held under the rules.
On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further appointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Kelly Walton, 9 Japonica Street, Salem, to the position of Assistant Building Inspector with a term to expire on September 14, 2019.
Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Madam President. And finally, I ask that this be held under the rules.
On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Donald Famico to serve as a constable with a term to expire August 1st, 2020.
Councilor Ryan?
I guess we'll move received and placed on file.
Councilor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $60,084.22 for Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account for the retirement of 2 employees, Michael Wong and Scott Engelhardt.
Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Gerard moves suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, under discussion?
Thank you very much. I also move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. This is a routine matter. Sad to see Michael and Scott go. We greatly appreciate their years of service, and we thank them so much for their time that they gave us, and I hope they enjoy their retirement.
On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $26,979.11 from Receipts Reserve Golf Course account to the Golf Course Renovations account to purchase an aerator.
Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Councilor?
Thank you very much. Madam President, I move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Thank you very much. This is a needed piece of equipment for the golf course, and as we all know, I love that golf course, and many people in Salem love that golf course, so it's needed, and I support this purchase.
On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $20,383.15 from Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account for the retirement of George Sands from the DPS.
Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Seeing no objection, Councilor Gerard?
Thank you again. I also move for adoption, please.
Under discussion?
Thank you. I'm very sad about this one, actually, because George Sands has been phenomenal. I think he's been here for like 30 years. He knows the city in and out, and it's heartbreaking, and part of me wants to deny it and say that he cannot retire, but I absolutely would not say that, and I wish him all the best.
Good luck.
Thank you. On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor, Councilor Dibble?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. I also rise in support of George Sands and his retirement. I first met him when he came walking in 1987 onto a softball field. We had challenged, the City Hall workers had challenged the workers, the Park Department, the Public Works workers. But I knew I was in trouble, and he watches these shows. We knew we were in trouble, the City Hall workers, when George Sands got out of his car, started walking to the softball field, and his whole team just started applauding that he was there to help them win and beat us. George Sands became a good friend of mine 30 years ago, and the way that he works, the way that he's worked for decades has served the city well, and he needs to be recognized for an amazing dedication and work ethic and what he's done to the city of Salem that people will never see. Or they see the results, but they'll never know that was him. He's a wonderful ambassador to the city, but he's a wonderful worker, and I applaud him in his retirement and thank him for his years of service.
Thank you. On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order to accept a donation from the Moose Lodge number 218 in the amount of $1,344 to the Fire Donation Fund.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Gerard moves for adoption. Under discussion?
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased that we have Rosemary O'Connor here with us today, that this is a fantastic donation from the Moose Lodge through the hard work of Rosemary as well as Pat Foley, and we can't thank them enough.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Thank you, Rosemary. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to zoning, Section 8.2.2 and Section 8.2.8, to provide for additional design review as part of the site plan review in the city's entrance corridor overlay district.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. Move to refer to the planning board to schedule a joint public hearing with the city council. Seems like we do these every meeting.
No discussion.
No discussion.
On Councilor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a home rule petition for one additional liquor license for the sale of wine and malt beverages to be drunk on the premises located at 142 Canal Street for Ling and Lai Inc., DBA Minzu Sushi.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
And it is.
I had around discussion, but Councilor Toriel, which is in his ward, you might want to discuss it.
Councilor Terrio?
Thank you, Madam President. Briefly, this is a new business that started earlier this year. They have been doing fairly well. They're hoping to be able to draw some more people to sit down and enjoy a meal there. It's a nice restaurant with a good reputation, and they and some other businesses have done a very good job sort of revitalizing that little section of Canal Street as the project goes by. So I'm in support of this.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilor Terrio?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
No.
Councilor Ryan?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Famiko?
Yes.
Councilor Epley?
Yes.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Milo?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of a home rule petition for additional liquor licenses for Minzu Sushi at 142 Canal Street, we have 10 councilors voting, 1 absent, 9 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the daily, weekend, and holiday rate for parking in the Museum Place parking garage, South Harbor parking garage, and Church Street West lot, excluding the east lot adjacent to St. Peter Street, shall be $20 effective October 1st, 2017 through and including October 31st, 2017. Salem residents with a valid ID at the Church Street parking lot shall not be subject to the $20 fee, and that the City of Salem lot at the MBTA station shall be made available for use by Salem residents only at no cost for weekends in October.
Councilor Giroux.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Thank you. I'll just be brief that this is something that we've been doing for many years with the Church Street lot being free to Salem residents, but $20 for everyone else. The same thing with the garages. Last year we did, I think it was Councilor Ryan that came up with including the train station, the city lot in the train station area, which is in Ward 6, which was a great idea. And through some trial and error, we did have some monitoring to keep it Salem residents only, and it is free for Salem residents as well. So I want to support this and keep it going.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you. I'd like to just amend this to add at the end, at no cost for weekends in October and on October 31st after 5 p.m. So then we have the commuters gone for the MBTA lot.
Is this year?
This year's a Tuesday, I believe.
Tuesday? I'm sorry, what day of the week is Halloween?
Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday? Okay. Yep. I
And
accept
so
that
on
amendment.
October 31st after 5 p.m.
Okay.
And just
All
so
right.
people know, this is now done by your excise tax, that the plates are connected. So when they see a Salem resident, they're not looking for IDs. They can just look at your plate and find out if you actually live here.
Any further discussion?
What if you have a lease?
On Councilor Gerard's motion as amended by Councilor Famico, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Communications from the mayor.
We have an order that following streets be given temporary resident-only parking status from October 1st through October 31st, 2017, to allow parking enforcement staff and police officers to enforce during the month of October. Broad, Downing, Endicott, Hathorne, Margin, Mount Vernon, Prescott, Summer, Winthrop, Union, and Beckett Avenue, and any additional streets as determined by the Chief of Police.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. Move for adoption.
Under discussion?
I don't have any discussion. Councilor Sergeant Famico talked about this earlier.
Councilor Famico, Councilor Sargent, Councilor McCarthy.
Yeah, just a couple amendments for Summer to make it from Endicott to Margin, because when this goes into effect, the resident parking on Summer will be already from Broad Street to Endicott. So then we have it from the other part for this would be from Endicott to Margin. And then the second part, I'd like to add Bridge Street between Howard Street Extension to Webb Street. And the reason behind that is there's some folks that live on Bridge Street proper, and most of the year they can park on the streets that don't have resident parking, and when we put this into place, they can't go anywhere.
Okay. Councilor Sargent?
Please, yeah, I just want to bring up a few points on this. Typically, that neighborhood for the last 10 years we've posted, but we haven't passed it. It's been a great decoy to do that, and people haven't had to go get the passes. But the key here being that I want to get to is in any additional streets as determined by the Chief of Police. And down on the Prescott Street end of the neighborhood, we don't really need it down there till the last couple of weeks of October. We don't need it from October 1st. It kind of moves from Broad Street down towards, the police station as the month goes on. So I was wondering if we could just, whatever ones the Ward 2 councilor and the Ward 1 councilor want, fine. But in Ward 3, I talked to Councilor Lovely. There hasn't been a lot of notice down the other end of the street, and leave them out and just the police chief or her designee is able to add them as needed. So as the month goes on, they can move them down the street. So the Ward 1 and the Ward 2 ones approved tonight. The Ward 3 ones can be put on the list as needed, and that's how it's always gone down there. And the other part is that if we do pass this, and I don't prevail, on Margin Street, I would ask only for the west side. The west side is from the House of Pizza all the way down. There's residents on that side. But the other side is the Phoenix School. And that, the businesses use that also. But also, if you have these passes, you only get 2 guest passes. So during the whole month of October, if you had a children's party or whatever, family party, we'd only have 2 passes. And the east side of Margin Street would serve as an overflow for the neighborhood. There'd be a place for extra guests to go without overburdening the neighborhood. So I'll leave that under discussion. And
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I think that I agree with the at-large counsel. The biggest thing on this order is the fact that the chief of police or her designee has the ability to add streets. I can't tell you how many phone calls we're in September. October's coming. Comes every year. As much as we plan and try to look forward to what's going to happen and anticipate how we're going to deal with stuff, we never fully have a full handle on it because October is like it moves, it grows, it does different things, and all of a sudden you want if something happens and a need is seen, you want the chief or her designee, either Lieutenant Brzezinski or Captain Stevens, the ability to put out those orange signs in an area that's being affected by an influx of tourists that's affecting a residential neighborhood. I don't care what ward it's in. We want that ability because we want it so that it doesn't have to come back to this body for us to go through the process of passing it. These are streets that have been identified in years in the past. There's other streets that have, want those things. The orange signs are not the be-all, end-all. I have people that come to me and want the orange signs put on streets that are already restricted residential parking because they feel the orange signs work better. People don't pay attention to the tourists who come in for October. Do not pay attention to the resident parking only white signs with the red letters. They want the big orange ones. And I'm like, it's already restricted resident. No, we want the orange ones because no one pays attention to the other ones. We want the big orange ones. I wish that we could just cover up all the residential ones with the big orange ones because I guess people pay more attention to them. I'm not sure. I'm not a tourist. I know where I can and can't park during the month of October, and it's something that we all try to deal with. But I think the biggest part of this order is obviously some of the suggestions that the good at-large counsel made is the fact that we give the chief of police the ability to amend this as we move forward, because all of a sudden, early October, we see a street that typically hasn't been parked on by tourists that's being inundated with tourists, and the ability to evaluate that, then we can add it without coming back to this body. And I think that's key because October is a work in progress, no matter how much planning, and there's a lot of good people that do a lot of advanced planning to try to anticipate these things, but there is no crystal ball when it comes to this. You have no idea what's going to motivate people or what GPS app they're using that's going to send them to some place that they've never been before, and like all of a sudden a neighborhood that's never been affected by parking like this is going to be affected. So I think that's key to this order. I wish everyone well during the month of October. As we all try to, because it is. Whether or not we want to admit it or not, people come. It's become an event. It has become a destination. And it's how we deal with that. We try to deal with it as best we can, but I think that this is the key part to this order, because over the years we've identified a lot of these streets that we try to limit these influx and try to restrict this. But having the chief or Lieutenant Brzezinski or Captain Stevens being able to identify these and give us a quick call and say, whether it's myself or Councilor Famico or Councilor Lovely or anyone else, any other ward council, say, this is what we're thinking of doing, this is why we're going to do it. At least then it can get done then, as opposed to trying to triage it and then wait until next year.
Councilor Epley, Councilor Famico.
I'll be very brief, Madam President. I just want to echo what the Ward 1 councilor said. One of those areas that you wouldn't normally expect this year could be Pope Street and Proctor Street with the new Proctor's Ledge memorial that's been put in place. So I want to thank Councilor Sargent in helping to put this together.
Councilor Famico.
Just like to amend that from before. I said Howard Street should be Howard Street Extension, because that's beforehand. And I'd also like to see if we could add an amendment, for Bridge Street from there down.
Can I jump up first? Because Howard Street Extension doesn't actually exist in the traffic ordinances, it's still called Howard Street, even though it's colloquially known as Howard Street Extension.
Perfect.
So you could include the numbers, so from 48 over.
I'd also like to add this, that we could say businesses located on temporary resident only streets be allowed 2 passes each. Every year it's an issue. We have streets that are the rest of the year completely open, and then we shut down their entire places to park, and some of these business owners are struggling as well.
Any
I'd like
further
to add
discussion?
those friendly amendments.
No discussion? Okay. On Councilor Ryan's motion?
Are we Are we subtracting the Ward 3 streets and putting them as needed?
Council Sergeant?
I would like to subtract the Ward 3 side. Council Lovely had asked me to put it in committee, but I understand Council Famico's got the Ward 2 streets, and then we come into Ward 3 going down Summer Street. So I would like to put the Ward 3 streets in that neighborhood in committee, and they can be added anytime as needed. And also that will leave this in committee in case coming up to Halloween we need to do anything else. But the fact that the police chief can add any street as needed is the biggest key to this whole thing. I just want to thank whoever put that in there, because other times we had our last meeting and then people wanted streets and we couldn't do anything about it because we weren't having any more meetings. That's such a key line to put in there because it gives us that flexibility. So the Ward 3 ones, I would like to, if I could, take out in that neighborhood to be added later as needed.
Council Sergeant, so what's your motion? You want to divide this question?
Yes, I just wanted to take those out of there. That's the two things I want to do. If you decide not to, at least I'd like to make a motion to take out the west side of Margin Street, because there are no residences on the west side of Margin Street. It's all businesses. It's a school and all businesses. So the residents would have the other side of Margin Street with his Napa Motor Parts, Salem House of Pizza, probably about 5 or 6 2 to 4 unit buildings. Yeah, of course, we do that side. But so at least I make my first motion to eliminate the west side of Margin Street from the ordinance, just past the east side of Margin Street, and ask for support on that.
Okay, is there a second? Okay. Under discussion, Council Repley.
I appreciate what the good at-large councilor is doing, but I mean, I'm just looking at the first street that's listed here, Broad Street. That's a dividing line between Ward 2 and Ward 3. Does that mean that half of Ward 3 is going to go in committee and the other half is going to go in Ward 2? And so that's passed tonight?
All right.
I mean, I think that it might make sense to just approve it.
There's actually a total of 6 of those splits, from what I can see.
Well,
There's 6 streets like that they're portions or halves or...
understood.
Council Sergeant.
Thank you, and thank you for clarification. I was just looking at Endicott Street coming down Summer Street being the dividing line. At least I would like to ask to make the motion to eliminate the west side or the east side of Margin Street, because there are no residences on that side, and a lot of the businesses use that, and it would be overflow for the neighborhood should they have an event. So, motion to eliminate the west side of Margin Street.
So
Or
that's
the east,
the-
motion to eliminate the east side of Margin Street.
So,
The east side is towards the ocean. Eliminate
So
the
as
east
a-
side.
so your first motion was to eliminate the west side that was seconded by Council McCarthy that was under discussion. Do you want to withdraw that and change it to the east side?
Just withdraw and change to the east side.
Okay,
Side with
seconded.
the side with no residences on it.
Seconded by Council McCarthy. Under discussion, Council Turiel.
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly, that side of Margin Street is in Ward 5. The only thing that's there are the two, yeah, I know, there's borders everywhere. There's only the 2 businesses on that section of the street, the Phoenix School and the insurance agency. They both have parking lots. So either which way, if you don't put resident parking there, then you're just giving a few free spaces to people who drive into the area and just want to park. And I know during October, both of those places on weekends rent out their parking lots to make some money. So you're taking a few bucks away from them. I mean, if that's what the will of the body is to take it out, then so be it. But I'm fine with it being resident parking and benefiting basically the people who live on the other side of Margin Street and giving them a little extra relief. So whatever, it's fine.
Council Famico.
I just wanted to make sure we vote on my amendments as well.
Which is yours?
The additions of streets and the allowance of the businesses as well.
We'll get that.
In your
But if
amendment was-
I could just make one more push for that side, because even though it's in Ward 5, it's in the neighborhood. I know the neighborhood well, and they're going to need, this is the first time they've officially made this resident sticker parking. And if somebody has a third guest, they have no place to park outside of going where walking all the way around to Canal Street or going down Jefferson Avenue somewhere. So that side of the street would be perfect for, at least to give them a shot as having a third guest. Somebody has a child's birthday party, they can at least go to the other side of Margin Street and park. Otherwise, a third guest, there's no driveways there. There's going to be a long walk if somebody has a third, fourth guest for some kind of event. Or they're going to have to be chasing after, borrowing each other's passes. So I don't think we need to have it in front of the residential areas. Thank you. I mean, the non-residential areas, sorry.
Councilor Ryan.
Just quick, I understand what he's trying to do, I don't have a problem with it, but just to let you know, it's probably, those spaces will be taken by people like me who want to go downtown and park. It's free, but whatever, it's fine, there's no business, the businesses are on that side. I don't think it's gonna make a difference either way.
All right, on Councilor Sargent's motion to eliminate the east side of Margin Street,
Yes.
all those in favor? All those opposed? That matter carries. Now, on Councilor Famico's amendment, which I didn't write the whole thing down, so.
To amend Summer to be from Endicott to Margin, to add Bridge Street between Howard Street and Webb Street, and to allow businesses located on temporary resident-only streets 2 passes each.
And there's a second on that? Yeah. And discussion? No discussion on Councilor Famico's amendment? All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. On Councilor Ryan's motion for adoption.
As amended.
As amended. Any discussion? Being none? All those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We would order that the Salem Youth Organization, Salem High Music Boosters, Football Boosters, Drama Club, and Salem Youth Football and others are hereby authorized to staff the parking lot at 297 Bridge Street and collect a parking fee of $20 per on the following designated weekend and holiday dates: October 7, 8, 9, October 14 and 15, October 21 and 22, October 28th and 29, and October 31st after 4 p.m. Dates are to be scheduled through the City of Salem's Traffic and Parking Department.
Councilor Duran.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption.
And the discussion?
Just briefly, that in the letter that came from the mayor, that it does say in all these organizations to collect a donation in the amount of $20 per car. And so in the description here, there was just missing the word car.
Okay.
So it is per car.
Okay.
Charge trucks too? We charge trucks too?
Per vehicle. How's that? Can we amend it to per vehicle?
I was only kidding, sorry.
Okay.
But that works.
Under discussion? Councilor Famico.
Yeah, I'd just like to, if we could ask the men to add it, that they shall document the amount collected per day, because I think it'd be interesting to know how many people we have coming into the city, and that we're looking at numbers of people coming in and out for our planning efforts in the future.
I accept that amendment.
They do that anyway.
But just that they document the amount of money collected per calendar day.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so on Councilor Durant's motion as amended? Oh, Councilor Ryan.
I had one question. I think Council Lovely brought it up last year, like as far as insurance, if someone gets hurt when they're parking the cars. I don't know, I'm assuming the city's gonna be responsible, but
Probably.
just want to make people aware. I think he had brought something up about that, but I don't think it's been an issue.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Madam President. I support the good Ward 2 councilor's comment on documenting it, but they can document it, put it in their pocket and go home, and we'll never get those results. So I'm wondering where she would like to see the results, the good Ward 2 council see the results go to. After they're documented, we should get them.
To provide the details to the city clerk and the director of traffic and parking. If we could adopt that amendment, it'd be great.
All right, on Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption as amended, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, September 14th, 2017, order that the monthly financial report dated July 31st, 2017 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance. And I move for adoption.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
Seeing none, on Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem and City Council, September 14th, 2017, ordered that the year-to-date budget report dated June 30th, 2017 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, and I move for adoption.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor Gerard's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem in the year 2017, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 74, General Prohibition Towing Zones. North Street, westerly odd side between the driveways of 111 North Street, no parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. And I move for adoption for first passage.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Madam President. This is something that came from the Traffic and Parking Commission and from Lieutenant Brzezinski due to a number of complaints and concerns of pedestrians almost getting hit at that intersection where from the Shell over to the 7th Salem. I myself have almost been hit there. And there's going to be a number of enhancements coming to that crosswalk eventually. And when I spoke with Lieutenant Brzezinski, there is a new regulation in the MUTCD, the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control and Design, that now it's going to be because the crosswalk is within 20 feet of the corner of the intersection of Osborne and North, it's only required to have the parking restriction on the odd side of the street because he has asked Steve in the DPW department to put up a no parking here to corner sign on the Osborne Street side. So this should hopefully make it a lot safer for pedestrians who are walking to and from downtown, to and from the train. So hopefully we have less near misses.
Any further discussion? Councilor Ryan.
This is in front of the Shell gas station, and like Councilor Gerard said, when you drive from North Street to downtown Salem, and there's a car parked there, you can't, crosswalk car, you can't see the people coming out. So I don't have any problem with eliminating the parking space in the front so you can see the people crossing the street. But the other side, I'm not sure about, but it's for the safety. I think it's fine because it's not going to benefit the business, which Shell gas station shouldn't get any benefit out of this, but it's a safety thing. I almost hit someone going out. I couldn't see them until the last second. They were hidden behind the car. So it is a big safety issue, at least on the first car closest to AA or whatever that
A&A service.
A&A service. Yeah. It is a safety, and I've been thinking about it the last couple of months when I drive down. I always go slow because you never know if there's a truck or car parked. You can't see someone coming out. I still don't like losing parking spaces, though.
Any further discussion?
I would.
Sergeant.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to put out there that on the Shell side that we maybe start with eliminating from the crosswalk north so that oncoming cars can see somebody in the crosswalk, but the space or two beyond there that we leave open, because now you're beyond the crosswalk there, so a car wouldn't be blocking a pedestrian, just so we save a couple of spaces. And if we did that and it turned out to be a problem, we could take those spaces away later. But just want to put out there that maybe we try one side and then see how it works, instead of having to add them back again later. So I'd like to make a friendly amendment that we only eliminate on the Shell side north of the crosswalk.
Councilor Giron.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate the good at large recommendation. However, from Lieutenant Brzezinski, he says the new MUTCD new rule is nobody should park within 20 feet of a crosswalk now. And to be clear, it's not a state rule, it is the MUTCD, which is used by the Federal Highway Department, and that no one should park within 20 feet of a crosswalk now. So with that rule in effect, there is no longer sufficient space to park cars at either end of the crosswalk between the two gas station driveways. There's also no parking within 4 feet of a driveway. Taking away the 2 parking spaces in front of 111 North Street will improve pedestrian safety. So that's why that's why the request is to eliminate both the parking on both sides of the crosswalk. Really, it's about pedestrian safety. I mean, it's not to benefit a particular individual or a business, but to keep safe the residents of North Salem. So.
Withdraw. I withdraw my motion.
Councilor Sargent withdraws your motion? Okay. All right, so on Councilor Durant's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Sargent, are you going to take this one?
Yes, I am, please. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem in the year 2017, an ordinance to repeal an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time. Repeal Cloutman Street in front of number 15 for a distance of 20 feet. Handicap parking tow zone, put in on 6/14/2001. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. Move adoption for first passage.
Under discussion?
No discussion. Just taking away a handicap spot that's no longer needed.
On Councilor Sargent's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. Motions, further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Famico?
Yes, Madam President. So for this one, it's actually not even a city ordinance on the books. There was some discussion. It's one of those signs that went up back in the day that just kind of appeared. So it's not in a city ordinance, so by us actually repealing this ordinance, it's not doing anything, it's actually just wasting some advertising expenses. So instead of doing that, I'd move that we ask the city solicitor to write a letter to the Department of Public Services to let them know that it is not an ordinance and they can take the sign down.
Okay.
Second.
All right. On Councilor Famico's motion, seconded by Councilor Sargent, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Repley.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to waive the reading.
Second.
Then I do move for adoption.
Under discussion?
Thank you. Very briefly, Madam President. Back in the late spring, early summer, I brought in an order to have a moratorium on the pruning of trees by our utility companies. There was an expiration of that as of today. We did have a meeting within the Public Health, Safety, and Environment Committee that dealt with gas leaks, and through some miscommunication, there was not notice of the issue of pruning at that particular meeting. No meeting has yet been scheduled. This this order essentially extends that moratorium for 2 months to November, allows us the time to have that meeting, to hopefully come to some consensus on that. And just as a FYI to everyone here, as well as the folks watching, obviously, if there's any emergency whatsoever that concerns, a downed tree or a downed power line or something, this allows that to absolutely happen. Our tree warden, it can change this at any time as well. So this is just a fail-safe for us to ensure that everyone's on the same page when it comes to tree pruning.
Thank you. Any other discussion? On Councilor Repley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Committee reports. Councilor Ryan.
I'll have that one. When you leave.
Seaworms and tags.
Yeah, so we just Yeah. Don't have the, it's not on my desk.
She said it should be there.
No.
You just read it over the.
We can,
Referred to granting certain licenses and considered said matter, we recommend granting the following license: Seaworms, Paul Lynch, Timothy Lynch, Tag Day, Salem Youth Football, and Cheerleading, October 7th and 8th.
on acceptance of the report?
Under discussion.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion, we just Tag Day and Seaworms.
Okay, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports. Counselor Fomiko.
City of Salem and the City Council, September 14, 2017. Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of discussing gas leaks in the city to include the effect on trees and the scheduling of repairs, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
This goes into a lot of what was brought up earlier tonight. Looks like we're going to be having a future ordinance coming in a couple weeks. We're having more tree talk, and we've got that scheduled soon.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Communications from city officials.
We have a communication from the city solicitor submitting an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to Chapter 22 noise control.
Counselor Ryan.
I move to refer to the Committee on Ordinance and Legislative Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Second.
Okay, under discussion?
Yeah, I'd actually like us to move for adoption for first passage for this. This is only the first step in the noise ordinance, so instead of arbitrarily establishing sound levels, we actually had a professional who works on acoustics and sound as their main day job come in. She's a Salem resident, and they took, with the help of different city staff members, different sound levels at all different times of the day to establish what our ambient noise level is. And from there, they did it from all different locations in the downtown at all different times. I saw them late at night. I saw them during the morning. So you establish that level, so then that whatever's going on, it's a certain baseline after that. Our current licensing regulations make it so that it's much higher than these levels. What the current rates are, it would actually be if you were at Derby Square in live performance of the Jazz and Soul Fest during the summer. So this is just to get that set up. It has areas downtown for this, and that gets us in place for October. There is a whole nother subsection of this to come that deals with all other factors, whether it's new development or sounds of cars or constructions. They have this whole other part outlined, but this part in particular is working on street performers and amplification in the downtown. And because we actually had this sound study done by professionals, it applies to everyone. It's not just to the street performers. It could be for people that are exercising their freedom of speech, or it could be, for people even walking down the street with their own portable music devices. So I would like to see this go for first passage just because it was so professionally done.
Did I hear a second?
Oh, it's still committee gets.
What's that?
Well, we have to, hold on.
He has to withdraw first if he chooses to.
Should he choose?
Counselor Ryan.
Yeah, I'll withdraw, and then I will make a motion to move for adoption first passage, then send it to the Committee on Ordinance and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Is that fine?
Okay. All right, on Counselor Ryan's motion to adopt this for first passage and send it to OLA, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries.
Number 20.
Petitions.
We have a petition from Comcast to install conduits for 401 Bridge Street and 50 Boston Street.
Hearing ordered September 28, 2017.
We have a petition contesting the handicap parking space request at 14 Naples Road.
Counselor Terrio.
Move that they be denied.
Under discussion?
Briefly, Madam President, we have we have this before us for second passage tonight. Coming up, this is for a house that has need of handicap spaces for people providing services and occasionally for residents. And it was vetted and recommended by the Lieutenant and by Lieutenant Krasuski and by the Traffic and Parking Commission. And also it has been reviewed with, excuse me, with members of the Osgood Park Association's board who have discussed it and are okay with that. We've discussed resident parking in general in that neighborhood heavily. The particular resident petitioning this is opposed to any on-street parking for any reason. And so he'd like this to be denied, and we've already passed it as such and wish to keep it that way.
Any further discussion? Seeing none on Counselor Terrio's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further petitions.
A request from the House of Seven Gables to close the end of Turner Street from noon to allow for unloading of trucks for their Taste of Gables event on Sunday, September 17, 2017.
Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move this petition be granted.
Under discussion?
Briefly, this is the House of Seven Gables annual fundraising event. I want to thank the City Clerk's office for helping process this through. We've done this for the last couple of years. They closed Turner Street at the water's end. It's a dead-end street. They closed it at the very end, so in order to set up they put a huge tent up on the property, and this is to help with the catering and whatnot to run the event. It's gone off without a hitch the last couple of years. I have no problem with this.
Any further discussion? Seeing none on Counselor McCarthy's motion that this be granted, all those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further petitions.
We have a request from the residents of King Street from Nursery to Woodside to hold a block party on Sunday, September 25th, 2017 from 3 to 7 p.m. with a rain date of Sunday, October 1st.
Counselor Giroux.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this be granted.
Any discussion?
Thank you. This is the first time that they've requested this, and I'm really excited for them. And I've already arranged to have fire and police pop by and show the kids the truck and the car. So I hope they have a fantastic time that day.
Any further discussion? Seeing none on Counselor Giroux's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions. I think we're on page 23
We have
now.
a list of license applications for public guides, taxi operator, and vehicle for hire operators only.
Waive the reading.
Counselor Ryan.
Move granted.
Under discussion?
Discussion.
Counselor Ryan's motion that these be granted. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have license applications for tag days.
Counselor Ryan.
Move referred to Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
Counselor Ryan moves this be moved to ordinances, licenses, and legal affairs. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions. Page 24.
24, yeah.
We have drain layer contract operator application for Ross City Construction Company and Linsky Excavating.
Counselor Ryan.
Can
I ask for...
Rules for 1 second. City,
It should be granted, it shouldn't be referred to a committee.
Seeing... Right, can we just take a 1-minute recess?
The drain layers.
Thank you. All right, we're just going to take a 1-minute recess. Thank you.
The recess be over.
Okay, we're back in session. Further petitions.
We have to finish this one.
She already read it, so.
Do you want to, okay. All right,
the
Counselor
drain
Ryan.
layers, move granted.
Counselor Ryan moves that these be granted.
No discussion.
No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further petitions.
We have a long list of claims.
Referred to the Committee on Ordinance and Legal Affairs.
Under discussion?
No discussion. I just cleared these out. It looks like they're coming right back again.
Councilor Ryan moves these be referred to Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter carries. Further petitions.
We have 2 drain layer bonds and 2 sign bonds.
Councilor Ryan.
Refer to the Committee on Ordinance and Legal Affairs and return to approved.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor Ryan's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time, Derby Street in front of number 85, 20 feet from northeast of Blaney Street and continuing for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption by second and final passage.
Any discussion?
No discussion, Madam President.
Seeing none, on Councilor McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time, repeal Northey Street in front of number 12 Northey for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking only tow zone.
Councilor Famico.
Move for second and final passage.
Under discussion? On Councilor Famico's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time, repeal Wisteria Street in front of number 18 Wisteria for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking only tow zone.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Move for adoption for second and final passage.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor Terrell's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 49, obedience to isolated stop signs, Laurel Street, east and westbound traffic, stop at Linden Street, stop signs.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor Terrell's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further unfinished business.
I have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time in front of number 14 Naples Road.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Move for adoption for second and final passage.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor Terrell's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending Article 1 of Chapter 16, Cemeteries, Section 16-6, dogs prohibited from certain historic cemeteries.
Councilor Durine.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Any discussion?
Briefly, just want to mention that this is something that came from the Cemetery Commission. There had been some talk on Facebook that this is not the Friends of Greenlawn that are supporting this. They're not. It's not their issue. This is coming from the Cemetery Commission, and this does not include Greenlawn.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Durard's motion, all those in favor, all those opposed, matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 88, special speed regulations, repeal Swampscott Road eastbound and westbound.
Councilor Sargent.
Move adoption for second and final passage,
Under
please.
discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor Sargent's motion, all those in favor, all those opposed, matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending Chapter 22, Noise Control, Article 1, in general, Section 1, Chapter 22-1, certain noises prohibited generally by adding Section 22-6, excessive noise from compression brakes prohibited.
Councilor Ryan.
Move for adoption second, final passage.
Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor Ryan's motion, all those in favor, all those opposed, matter carries. Councilor Durard, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a quick point of personal privilege. Just want to wish everyone who will be celebrating the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, next week to have a happy and healthy Rosh Hashanah.
Thank you. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Also, a point of personal privilege. I'd just like to note that it was 2 years ago that Councilor O'Keefe passed away, and the longtime dean of our city council. No offense to the at-large councilor who now holds that position, but I'd just like to ask her a little moment of silence for us to remember him for a moment. 'Cause
Thank you.
He was one of a kind.
He was,
Move
thank
the
you.
question.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Counselor Fury.
One personal privilege also. If I may, I think we should really congratulate Cheryl and Eileen on an outstanding week of holding an election, a preliminary, and all the work behind the scenes, getting a new St. Peter's Church voting precinct done, and all the work tonight. We're very lucky to have the team effort, the elections department, Cheryl and Eileen. Thank you very much for an outstanding week. And just an everyday week and every day for us. God bless you, friend. God bless you. Thank you. Motion to adjourn, Madam President.
Motion to adjourn.
Undebatable.